Dr. Graham, thank you. You're special, and we appreciate you. The scorekeeper, Nick Calif, he's amazing, reliable, and great with metrics. The photographer at Gregory Townsend Photos on Instagram, he creates memories and smiles for life. The Santa Margarita Catholic High School rector, Father Matthew Maxwell, thank you for being here and helping us. And Paul J. Higgins since 1986, AimSports.tv. You definitely want to tune in because he'll have exciting game highlights of tonight's game on AimSports.tv. Thank you for all you special helpers. You are literally the wind beneath the Eagles' wings. Thank you, Santa Margarita Toyota, Oakley, Hannah's Restaurant, King's Fish House, Crisp Imaging. And thank you to the parents who sacrifice so much to make sure their kids are learning, growing, and becoming great scholar athletes.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really good. His brother got a full ride to Stanford. His little brother. I think he's already going to junior. All right.
Don't forget, Santa Margarita Athletic Information Night. It's going to take place Monday, November 10th, 6 p.m. Come see and hear for yourself the amazing tradition of athletic and academic excellence at Santa Margarita. The Athletic Info Night, Wednesday, November 6th. So be there, 6 p.m. That's a big one. Put it on the calendar.
We take our show on the road from the East Coast to the West as we get set for the number 14 team in the country, the Mission Viejo Diablos, set to take on the number 16 team in the country, the Santa Margarita Eagles. And good evening, everyone. Welcome to Trabuco Hills High School, where Santa Margarita is playing their home game, their opening game of the season for both of these two teams tonight. I'm Jeff Kurtz, alongside Zach Poff, ready for week 2 of football here in Southern California, where it's a nice and cool 95 degrees as we move toward kickoff time. It's a little warmer, but no rain in the forecast. Zach, will be a nice change from last week. We should get this game started on time.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx anything because we had a 2.5-hour delay last week, but I think we're ready to go, and sun's shining, and we're going to have a lot of stars tonight to watch. It should be a great one.
Well, just like last week where we had a ton of stars in that Grayson Collins Hill game, we've got some big-time players here for Mission Viejo, Santa Margarita as well. Let's look at some of these key players for this particular game.
Yeah, it all starts with Vance Spafford from Mission Viejo, a 4-star Miami commit. This dude has been balling out over the last 2 years. He's been one of the most productive wide receivers, not just in California, but the entire country. And it's sure nice because his quarterback is Luke Fahey, a 2026 Ohio State commit, who's going to be full-time starter this year, has been splitting time the last couple of years. So that's going to be one of the best wide receiver quarterback duos in California.
Yeah, Fahey to Spafford was pretty electric when Fahey was on the field last year. Meanwhile, Santa Margarita's got a pretty good offensive wide receiver as well.
Yeah, Trent Mosley, he's a dog. He reminds me a ton of the Detroit Lions' Amon-Ra St. Brown, a former Trinity League star at Mater Dei. Trent Mosley does it all. You just look at the career numbers there, nearly 2,600 receiving yards during his career. He's also a guy that can come in as a wildcat quarterback, and he's got 20-plus rushing touchdowns throughout his career as well.
He's on the edge as well of a Santa Margarita school receiving record for most catches in a career. Brian Finneran, currently the record holder there, used to play wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons. So,
a long time ago. So.
Exactly. That's going back a ways. Mosley looking to break that record this year, and he should, Zach. If he stays healthy, he should be great.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Trent Mosley staying healthy. He was a little banged up last year. Santa Margarita went 5-7, but the games he played, they were a tough team to beat.
Well, let's look at the keys to the game for Mission Viejo and Santa Margarita. And Mission Viejo coming off a 10-1 season last year. But the first one, Zach, is will the Pups step up? They've got a young offensive line this year.
I know you had a little fun with that one, but you look at their offensive line for Chad Johnson. Not one senior starting. So that's why it's important for guys like Vance Spafford and the Lightning on the outside. Jack Junker, former star at Santa Margarita. Important for those two guys to really help out with that offensive line. I expect a lot of quick passes from Luke Fahey.
Junker, a great addition. He had 3 touchdowns against Inglewood in the playoffs last year, an electric player. Meanwhile, keys to the game for Santa Margarita, Trace Johnson making his debut at quarterback, coming out from Florida to play here in California.
Yeah, this is a dude. He's very impressive. Obviously, his dad, Doug Johnson, former great quarterback at the University of Florida. Trace Johnson's got the keys to the car. He's a starting quarterback, put up back-to-back really good seasons at Buckholz High School out in Florida. Led all of 6A in passing last year as a junior. And then you got the Mosley connection. It's not just Trent Mosley you got to worry about. You got to worry about the class of 2028 standout, Grant Mosley. I think he's going to have a breakout sophomore campaign this year for Coach Carson Palmer.
Didn't get a lot of time last year, but he's going to be pressed into a lot of action this year as well. And Carson Palmer, the first-year head coach and returning to his roots, an alumnus of Santa Margarita High School. And we'll talk more about Carson Palmer in just a few moments. He is excited about this first game, and we'll talk more about his addition to Santa Margarita and the Eagles in just a few moments as the pregame continues.
High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
Crowd filing in here at Trabuco Hills High School for the opening week of CIF Southern Section football. It is the MaxPreps game of the week. Jeff Kurtz along with Zach Poff. And you can see, Zach, what a great crowd we have on hand to see the debut of the new head coach for Santa Margarita, Carson Palmer, an alumnus, former Heisman Trophy winner after a 14-year NFL career. He is back where he played his high school football, guiding the Santa Margarita football team into a new era.
Led by offensive coordinator Lenny Vandermeer, defensive coordinator Steve Papita, and head coach Carson Palmer. The Eagles are here.
And there is Carson Palmer down on the field as he is getting his troops gathered and ready to go for this football game in his first season here at Santa Margarita after a fantastic NFL career. And he is set to get this team out on the field and ready to go. What a whirlwind it has been since the announcement of his status as head coach for Santa Margarita. It has been a lot of activity around the campus for the Eagles over the last several months. Meanwhile, Chad Johnson in his 8th season guided his Mission Viejo Diablo squad. Again, a 10-1 record after last year. They were undefeated in the regular season, then lost to Centennial in the first round of the Division I playoffs. Centennial then ended up losing to eventual national champion Mater Dei in the second round. So this is one of the strongest divisions for high school football in the country, Zach. It looks like we're still having trouble with Zach's headset, unfortunately, folks, so we'll carry it from here. And I will just assure you that what Zach would have said to my last question is absolutely that this is one of the toughest divisions in the country. And Santa Margarita playing in the Trinity League, that's one of the toughest conferences in the entire nation. Mater Dei, St. John Bosco, Orange Lutheran, J. Sarah, Servite, Santa Margarita. All teams that you will see in the MaxPreps top 25 or top 100 over the course of the season. And at some points during the year, a bunch of them will be engaged all at one time in the MaxPreps top 25. Starters being announced.
I think I'm back.
Zach, you're back.
I'm back.
Oh, look.
I know everybody missed me, so.
What is a broadcast without a few technical difficulties?
Yes.
Front end, we get them ironed out, we're ready to go.
Yes, I just had the magic touch, I guess, but how ironic is it, too, that Carson Palmer's making his head coaching debut against Chad Johnson on the other side, so.
Yes, not the Chad Johnson.
Cinco.
Not the one he used to throw passes to,
But yeah, what a start for Carson Palmer. You get to go up against Mission Viejo, a school he's very familiar with. And these two schools are pretty close in proximity, so this should be a fun one. These two teams are very, very familiar with each other. Last year, they played each other. Mission Viejo rolled to a 35-7 win, a game that kind of got out of control in the second half. It was 6-0 towards the end of the first half, so it was a competitive game. But down the stretch, Mission Viejo really pulled away.
Yeah, both of these teams both these schools residing in Mission Viejo from one end to the other. Yeah. And now gathering at Trabuco Hills High School, you may be wondering, well, why does the Santa Margarita play their games on their campus? Because their field won't fit everybody who wants to come out and watch them play. So they have had to go be road warriors to a degree. They played games at Saddleback College down the road from here. They're going to have a game at Tesoro later on in the year, Tesoro High School in the Southern California area. They're playing at Trabuco Hills High School tonight.
And got a pretty good crowd on hand, too, so definitely would not have been able to play this game at Santa Margarita. Mission Viejo fan base out supporting their squad, and Santa Margarita side is very packed, too. So we're going to get a look at Luke Fahey first. Mission Viejo getting the ball to start.
That's right. The Diablos in those white jerseys with the gold helmets, red lettering, white pants going left to right across your screen. Colin Hicks teeing up the football for the Eagles in the home blues. And they'll be going right to left. Hicks has us lined up. We are set. We are ready to go here at Santa Margarita. Kickoff temperature 83 degrees. A perfect night for football. And we are underway. And on the return, Vance Spafford from his 5-yard line goes to his left, cuts up right, and will be knocked down at the 25-yard line for a return of 20 yards. And we'll get our first look at this Eagles defense and the Diablo offense.
Nice hit by Braxton Boyle, the sophomore tight end, getting in on special teams. And that's where you see those sophomore and freshmen get a chance to make plays. on special teams. Nice hit on the 4-star Miami commit.
Yeah, if you want to get playing time at the high school level and you're an underclassman, get on special teams, make a name for yourself, slowly work your way up. Well, Luke Fahey this year will be getting all the snaps for Mission Viejo. Last year he would share time with Dre Trudeau, and believe it or not, before every game they do a game of rock, paper, scissors to see who would start, and Coach Johnson let him do that, but that's because both quarterbacks were so good. But it is Fahey's game this season, and he's going to play action on first down, try to tuck it away and run, and he'll get a short gain, dodging a couple of defenders in the backfield out near the 28-yard line.
Yeah, put a nice move on Lakai Halani there to get a couple of yards on the play.
And here is the starting lineup for this 4-receiver set for Fahey. He's got Luke Carby, Jack Junker, formerly of Santa Margarita, Vance Spafford. One back in the backfield, and there's your offensive line, a young offensive line, sophomores and juniors with a big task in front of them against a very experienced defensive front. And linebacking core for Santa Margarita. Fahey's got his first completion of the game. Short reception to the far side of the field out near the 30-yard line. And here is that defense for Santa Margarita and their starting lineup. And this is a very good defensive line and linebacking core.
Yeah, Samote Katawanga there, the one that stands out on the D-line. Dash Fafita was the Trinity League defensive MVP last year, and the defensive back is loaded. Two great corners in Jaden Crowder, a Cal commit, and 2028 standout Karan, a.k.a. Prime Williams.
That last reception, receiver stepped out for no gain. Fahey's going to try to run. Now he's going to throw, and he's got a man open. Great completion, nice move, far side of the field. And the reception at midfield will give Mission Viejo a first down. And, of course, Vance Spafford with the reception.
Look at this move. He just hit him with the little juke. And there's a reason why this guy is one of the baddest, man. He's got that sauce, man. Sauce meter on 10, 1 out of 10 for Vance Spafford here. He reminds me a ton of Cooper Kupp.
First carry of the game for the running back. That was Devontae Curtis, and not much there, no gain.
Yeah, Curtis last year ran for nearly 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Have a much bigger role this year.
Yeah, you got a lot of guys who are stepping up this season into bigger roles for both of these teams.
Yeah, that's what Chad Johnson said. He's got to depend on the seniors early, kind of let these guys get their feet wet.
Fahey with a 3-receiver set to the near side, one back in the backfield. Now going to look to the sideline as he tried to get Santa Margarita to jump.
Yeah, you look at that offensive line, you got 3 juniors and 2 sophomores, so they're going to have to learn pretty quick here against a very, very good front seven.
Including a sophomore center. That's a tough position to play as Curtis the carry again, and nice penetration that time by Prime as Karan Williams gets in there and makes the tackle.
Yeah, Prime was a preseason MaxPreps All-American at the defensive back position. He was a guy who saw plenty of playing time as a freshman last year. He's going to be one of those big-time corners that come from Southern California, just like Damani Jackson and a bunch of other guys.
Gain of 1 on the play, 3rd down and 9 for Mission Viejo. This is the opening drive of the game, starting at their own 25-yard line. Fahey, blitz coming. It's not picked up, but there's a screen set up and a nice job in the secondary. We also have a flag thrown on the play as that time Siwa Halani with the tackle around the 45, but we have 2 penalty markers down actually now. Gives us an opportunity to meet our officials here for the first time. Our referee is Jim Stickney, and he's got the call. Ineligible man downfield on the offensive line for Mission Viejo. So we'll see what Santa Margarita elects to do here, and they're going to decline that penalty and set up 4th down. So the punting unit on for the Diablos. And there is your referees tonight. Dave Brandt, the umpire. And quickly running through those, Andy Brewer, the head linesman, John Patterson, line judge, back judge Don Dampulos, field judge Joel Rogers, and the side judge was Ben Hughes.
So good job by Santa Margarita's defense there after Vance Spafford had that nice reception. And a great open field tackle by Halani.
Punt away. Isaiah Murguia doing the punting and kicking today as the normal kicker is out sick. And it's going to be down inside the 10-yard line. Nice punt. Yeah, normally doing the honors is Caleb Sylvia, but he came up sick today, and so Murguia in his place.
And not bad. Your first punt, filling in, get it inside the 10-yard line. Very good job by the punter filling in.
And now Trace Johnson will be taking the field, making his California debut after an outstanding junior year in Florida.
The nice thing for him is Florida is really, really good competition as well, but the Trinity League is a different animal. This is a guy who had a tremendous junior season, had a very good sophomore year as well, but led all of 6A in passing last year. He's a Tulane commit.
And his father, Doug Johnson, the quarterback's coach now at Santa Margarita as well. So,
former University of Florida great. Played a little bit with Carson Palmer at Cincinnati as well.
Jayon Smith in the backfield. Man in motion, play action. Johnson's going to throw right away, and he's going to connect far side to Trent Mosley, who's going to break a tackle. And Mosley, with that reception, has tied the school record for most consecutive receptions in games, 29 now. He came in with 28. That ties Brian Finneran, as there are your starters for Santa Margarita. Including Luke Gazaniga, a pretty good tight end, and then the offensive line as well, a good offensive line. Here's a handoff. Smith, the carry, is first of the game. He's going to take it around the 20-yard line. Will cross the 20, and that'll be enough for a Santa Margarita first down.
Yeah, and Jayon Smith last year as a freshman led Santa Margarita in rushing with 671 yards, had 4 TDs, and he's got a few offers. Syracuse, San Diego State so far to offer, but I expect a lot more to come for the very, very talented sophomore running back. And I mean, running back's really a young group for Santa Margarita because the freshman Adrian Patero will also get some playing time, it looks like, here tonight.
Well, and even watching him last year as a freshman, against the level of competition you go up against, I was afraid he was going to break.
Yeah,
but
right.
he did a fantastic job. Fresh set of downs for Santa Margarita. Smith's going to get another carry. He's going to be met in the backfield and stopped immediately by Matthew Dalhover, the linebacker who comes in and makes the tackle.
Yeah, you don't see one-on-one tackles too often on Jayon Smith. Looks like we got a player down as well.
We do. We have a Diablo down on the field. This is a Diablo defense as we're looking at it here, anchored by J.D. Hill, who had 16.5 sacks last year, running opposite Jaden Williams, who left with what looked like Madden numbers when you're playing in easy mode. 23 sacks, 33 tackles for a loss. I mean, it was crazy.
At some point last year, I thought he was going to get about 35, 40 sacks. And also, too, a guy to pay attention to in the secondary for the Diablos is Jaron Jones, a 2026 Washington commit, one of the top-rated DBs in the state of California.
Yeah, Jaden Williams, excuse me, I said 33.5 tackles for a loss. It was actually 44.5.
Oh, don't shortchange him, man.
I'm not going to at all.
He's going to come after. He's now at Boise State.
And we're looking at that injured player down. There was a bit of a block. Gazaniga picking up the defensive end and hit a chip block and really took a pounding there, the player on that side. And so that's going to be Cash Gervasi, one of the linebackers, a junior.
And he's an important player on this defense, one of the returners.
Oh, they started to take him to the wrong sideline.
It's like the training staff might have got a head injury there going the wrong way, but
look,
luckily
it's the first game for everybody, Zach. For our officials here, their first game, the players and the training staff.
But yeah, obviously hope Cash can heal up and get back in this one.
Yeah, favoring that right leg. We hope he's okay. Tough in the first couple of plays to have an injury that takes you out of a game, especially when you're getting a start here in your junior year.
And we were talking about Mission Viejo's offensive line being young. Santa Margarita's got a very young offensive line as well. Naniva Nicholson, the only starter that's a senior. He's a 2026 Arizona State commit. He's playing left tackle.
That was a loss of 3 on that last run by Smith, so second down and 13 here. 4 receiver package this time. Tight end out, man in motion. The far side is Mosley. Low snap. Johnson's going to throw to the near side and a little out route. That is a nice catch along the sideline by Grant Mosley, the younger brother of Trent. First one over to congratulate him after Trace Johnson is his brother. That catch out past the 25 to the 27-yard line.
I think it's safe to say, Jeff, he's got a couple of offers, USC, Sac State, but as this guy gets going, he's going to have over 25, 30 offers. Because the difference between him and Trent Mosley, Grant Mosley's got that bigger body, 6 foot, 180, while Trent Mosley, on the other hand, is 5'10 and a half, $170. So Grant Mosley's kind of got that more mold you want as a wide receiver, and he's one of those guys you can just throw it up to him and he's going to make a play.
And he was working against a good corner in Jaron Jones.
Yeah.
That was not a big window to throw into, and Johnson found a spot. That's Grant Mosley in motion to the far side of the field. 3 receiver set now, 1 near side man-to-man coverage with Jones. They're going to throw a little fade route down the sideline, incomplete. And that time, Jones, fantastic coverage, step for step, with a little bit of help from the safety, Sawyer Thompson, will set up 4th down and 4.
Yeah, I think that's a matchup we're going to see a lot tonight. You got Jaron Jones going up against Trent Mosley. And that was just good one-on-one coverage, as you mentioned, too. Safety coming over to help. So we kind of figured on this one, defenses are going to kind of play good early. It's going to be a matter of which offense can kind of get that big play to spark a run and get some momentum here.
Ryan Clark on to punt here for the Eagles. That is a short punt. He's trying to keep it away. Fair catch called for. Jack Junker is going to get that. And Junker, the former Santa Margarita Eagle, didn't have to go very far to find Mission Viejo High School, as he was in the same area. And boy, he had a fantastic year for the Eagles last year. And that's a 1-2 punch on the outside for Luke Fahey that's going to be pretty damaging for a lot of defenses this year.
Yeah, and that was kind of a big loss for Santa Margarita. Last year he had 41 receptions, 606 yards, and 8 touchdowns. And I know one of the games you did, he had what, 3
touchdowns, yeah. Kept getting open against Inglewood. It was pretty remarkable.
It'll be interesting to see Mission Viejo on this drive. I think it's going to be important for them to do a lot of quick passes, not put a lot of pressure on this offensive line. And we saw on the first drive, Vance Spafford, one of the most dangerous wide receivers in open space.
Fahey's going to go under center this time with Curtis in the backfield. Good field position for the Diablos here at their own 46-yard line. On first down, Fahey's going to roll out slightly left, then throws. Got a man open. There's Junker. We were just talking about him, and he makes a catch inside the 35-yard line, down to the 34 for a first down.
And nice job by the offensive line for the Diablos there. Nice little boot action, able to get Fahey rolling out, and nice throw to Jack Junker.
Well, Fahey's pretty good with his feet, Zach, too. Yeah. So getting him rolled out, especially with a young offensive line, not a bad idea. Quick out, far side of the field. They're going to let Spafford make a move, and good pursuit by the Eagles defense. He will be tackled near the line of scrimmage.
And that's what's so impressive with Luke Fahey. He, split time last year, last couple years of split time, but he's still 76.6 completion percentage. So he was always ready when he was coming into the game. And we were talking about it earlier. How impressive is that? 17 touchdowns to 0 interceptions.
Second down and 10. Mission Viejo is bringing a tight end into the game. They're going to line up left. Fahey looking to throw. He's going to find his tight end right across the middle. We got a first down. We also have a penalty marker down back at the line of scrimmage.
This is usually one of those ones that's going to be holding, but we'll wait and see what the ref says. Or hands to the face.
We got a personal foul, face mask against the offense.
Oh, the ref pointed the wrong direction.
Oh, he pointed the wrong way?
Yeah, I was like, wait, Mission Viejo's walking that way. So
I don't think they got the memo. There we go, 15 yards on the penalty. And the ball is going to be down on a first down inside the, looks like it's going to be down right around the 10-yard line. First and goal. Fahey with Curtis in the backfield to his left. First and goal. Diablo's looking to get on the board first here. Fahey, a lot of direction. Moving guys around. Defense shifts. Fahey looking right. He's going to throw. Back of the end zone. Got a man open. Junker. Nobody around. Penalty marker down inside the 5. The ball off Junker's fingertips just a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're going to get offensive PI on Vance Spafford. Kind of ran right into the DB to give Jack Junker a little bit of space.
Looks like they're making the call against the defense.
Yeah.
You're right. It looked like Mission Viejo running a little bit of a pick play over there, but saw guys falling around all over the place. Junker almost had that football. So 2 penalties on Santa Margarita on the last 2 plays.
Yeah, I thought for sure they were going to call that on Spafford, but they actually called it on the DB. Looked like that might have been, it looked like it was Crowder, number 7, that got called for it.
It will remain first and goal now at the 5-yard line. Junker in motion into the backfield. They're going to run a little option play and then a shovel pass underneath to Curtis, and he's going to be stacked up at the 4-yard line. Great response by Santa Margarita. Lee K. Holani got in there as one of the players involved in that tackle.
Yeah, that was just a great one-on-one tackle by Holani. Got a lot of good family blood in that family. Obviously, his brother or his cousin playing in the NFL, George Holani, former Bosco great. And then he's got his brother, Joshua Holani, in the secondary.
Logan Hyru, the safety, also came in and assisted on that tackle, though it looked like Holani pretty much had that one dialed in on his own, but as many helmets to the football as you can get. Second and goal from the 4. Jumbo package in the backfield, play action. Fahey's going to roll out to his left, trying to get to the corner, and he's not going to, well, on the first effort, a nice hit by Jaden Crowder, and then Fahey bounced off of it and was able to get a couple more yards down to the 1 yard line.
Yeah, Fahey using that 185-pound body, able to look like he's going to get stopped right at the line of scrimmage, but now you set up a 3rd and goal at the 1 yard line.
Boy, Crowder, nice recovery, and looked like he was going to tee up Fahey into next week, and I think he was surprised that Fahey bounced off of him and kept going.
Yeah, Crowder listed at 5'11", $170.
3rd and goal from the 1. Handoff, Curtis trying to find some running room, and he's going to be stopped short. Santa Margarita crowd loves it.
Yeah, just great pursuit of the football. And no doubt, obviously, they're going to go for it here, 4th and less than a yard.
Holani once again with a nice tackle inside the 5 yard line.
Yeah, we've been calling his name a lot.
Well, and great job by Crowder holding the edge there and really forcing Curtis back to the help. Defense says 4th and goal. Same formation for Mission Viejo. They're going to give it to Curtis again. He's fumbled the football, and it's going to be a stop by Santa Margarita. Curtis looked like he had a free rein into the end zone. The ball pops loose, and the Eagles hold.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear this at home, but the crowd is going absolutely nuts on the Santa Margarita sideline. What a job by Dash Fafita to come in. And they're able to jump on Fahey. Turnover on downs, big-time play.
Boy, that is a huge stop by the Santa Margarita defense. You had a 1st and goal from the 9, then the 5 after a penalty, and you hold Mission Viejo right there.
And that was actually Holani on the hit to force the ball out.
Well, that's 3 big hits by
Holani's
Holani.
Having big-time first quarter.
It's a Holani party defensively inside the 5 yard line.
So if you're Carson Palmer here, are you dialing up some, or are you going to play it safe and just give the ball to your sophomore running back?
Well, house money, go for a big shot down the sideline. Johnson on 1st down is going to hand it off, and Smith is going to get pushed back as now the Mission Viejo defense an opportunity to respond. That'll be a loss of a yard back to the 4 yard line.
And this is where it's nice to have a guy like Trent Mosley. He's someone who can make a big-time play on a just little quick slant pass or even a screen.
Well, Jake Martin's going to come in at receiver as well. See if they go to 4 wide this time to the Eagles as we're nearing the 3-minute mark of the opening quarter. Huge defensive stand by Santa Margarita here in this first 12 minutes of play.
And this is an important opportunity, too, for Mission Viejo's defense, because if they can force a 3 and out here, they should get good field position.
Johnson takes a snap. He's going to give it to Smith again, running right. He's trying to bounce to the outside, and he's going to lose more yardage.
Yeah, great pursuit by Mission Viejo's defense. Everyone just sticking to their lanes and not allowing Smith to bounce outside.
And this is a young defensive line, too. I mean, you've got J.D. Hill as a senior, but you've got a bunch of juniors in Cole Davis, Kane Nolte, and Noah Lee. And they didn't get a ton of playing time last year, so they're really having to step up this season. They knock Smith back for another yard loss, 3rd and 12.
Yeah, and just, hearing Chad Johnson's interview, he was just talking about how this is a very, very young team, and they're going to have to learn quick because, like Santa Margarita, they also have a very tough schedule this season.
Santa Margarita on 3rd down now. Got a late personnel change for Mission Viejo. 3 receivers set. Mosley in motion. That's Grant to the far side. Johnson standing in the end zone, low snap. Steps back, pressure coming, he's hit as he throws. The pass is going to be caught, and in the open field, that's going to be a first down for Santa Margarita out to the 18-yard line.
I'm not even sure if he was throwing to Grant Mosley on that play, but he took a big hit, and Mosley was just in the right place at the right time. And, man, sophomore wide receiver, but he's having a very, very good opening quarter.
Sometimes the ball just bounces your way, and you've got to be ready.
And what a job by Trace Johnson just to stay in the pocket there and still make a nice throw to move the chains.
Good pressure by that defensive line as well.
And last week we saw a couple of safeties, so you would have had your punter punt in the back of his own end zone. So big first down for Carson Palmer's offense.
Yeah, there's the defense looking at the plays that they just ran. Probably pretty fired up as well after that goal line stand. Meanwhile, the offense getting reset here. Johnson taking his time. There's a lot of single coverage around here for Mission Viejo. He's now going to move his Johnson is back to the right. And we're going to do a jet sweep to the far side with Trent Mosley. He's got some foot speed. He's going to get a positive gain on first down out beyond the 20, close to the 25-yard line. Give him about 7 or 8 yards. But we have a penalty marker back at the 15. And we got a holding penalty against Santa Margarita.
And those are just the penalties you don't want to get. You want to keep that down in distance in a manageable spot. And anytime you're pushed back like that, it just makes things a lot harder for your offense.
So now the Eagles are going to be inside their 10-yard line. It will remain first down. Well, Carson Palmer surveying the scene. Has to be really pleased with how his defense has played so far. Offensively, they're having trouble getting started, but Mission Viejo is not a pushover. They've got a great defense as well.
Yeah, you just look at Santa Margarita's schedule this year, open up with Mission Viejo. 9 of the 10 opponents they will play this year are ranked in our MaxPreps expanded top 100 rankings.
I don't know. Do you fire the guy who made that schedule? That's pretty.
It depends what your record is at the end of the season.
Well, certainly Santa Margarita, you got to play the toughest competition you can going into Trinity League play because there is no easy game.
Yeah, I saw Bosco was up 31-0 in Florida against Manatee.
Johnson looking to throw on 1st and 10. He's got a man open. That's a first down and a missed tackle. And Mission Viejo is fortunate that Grant Mosley lost his footing. Otherwise, he would have been gone. Instead, the ball out to the 34-yard line. Nice job by Johnson picking up the 3rd first down of the game for Santa Margarita.
Yeah, then the Grant Mosley show here in the first quarter. He has been super impressive, and nice throw by Trace.
Well, folks, we have reached the end of the first 12 minutes of play. No score on the board. The team's moving the football. We got a great goal line stand by Santa Margarita. That's the highlight of the first 12 minutes. The Eagles on the march. It's the MaxPreps Game of the Week. Stay with us.
Our #1 priority is protecting our players. That's why we're writing new rules for the sport and developing innovative educational tools to protect our athletes. This is player protection. This is high school football.
And Zach, there is that toughest schedule that you were talking about right before we went to break. And folks, it's always good to get a visual of that and not just the audio. That is a gauntlet right there.
Yeah, I mean, Santa Margarita with the toughest. Then you got 1, 2, 3, 4 Trinity League teams in the top 10 schedules. Modern Day at 2, Olu at 5, and St. John Bosco at number 6. But some of the notable opponents for Santa Margarita, they played number 12 Corona Centennial next week. That game will be on NFHS Network on Thursday. Make sure and watch that. They also play at Oaks Christian, Bishop Gorman, and then Trinity League with Servite, Modern Day Bosco, Olu, and J. Sarah. It's never easy when you have to play the number 1, number 2, and number 3 teams in the country.
And in so compact a time space, too. Yes. I mean, that's not like you got a few weeks off and then you get to tackle them then. No. And now we've got a whistle, and it looks like we might have too many men out in the field for Mission Viejo's. Hustling off there was Matthew Dahlhover, the linebacker. And that's what you had. You had 12 men on the field, and that's a tough one coming out of a timeout as well, or an intermission between the first and second quarter.
And that's just an area, too, you know, Chad Johnson with a lot of new guys playing this year. Sometimes you just get a little confused coming out with the defensive play call. But I like what I've seen from Santa Margarita, too, offensively. A lot of under center and a lot of shotgun, so a lot of different looks.
Here's a handoff running left. Smith, after that 5-yard penalty, is marched off. And Smith is going to end up in a pile of blue and white shirts who will be pushed close to a first down near the 43.
And you just look at this offensive line. Adam Ilo, a freshman at left guard. Aaron Cladd, a junior who got a lot of playing time last year as a sophomore. Elijah Ayava. And then you also got Chris Kraniger, also known as Gator, a sophomore. So you got 2 sophomores, a freshman, a senior, and a junior.
Smith, big hole to the left-hand side. Will take it out near midfield. Suddenly the offensive line, I don't know if they're shifting around what they're doing or deploying more of the tight end on the blocking side of things, but Smith has had 2 collapsed left-hand side of the line and has gotten good yardage on both carries.
Yeah, Trace Johnson filling in pretty good here. You know, it's got to be a big change for him. You know, so used to playing in Florida. It's just a different game. Obviously, both states very talented, 2 of the best in the entire country, but it's a different ball game when you're playing for a school like Santa Margarita in the toughest league in America, in the Trinity League.
Gain of 7 for Smith on that last carry. 2nd down and 3. You got a penalty marker now as it looks like somebody was drawn offside for Mission Viejo, and that'll give the Eagles a free first down.
That's the nice thing when your dad is a former SEC great quarterback. You're going to have good cadence. But then on top of having Doug Johnson, you got Carson Palmer as your head coach who's going to teach you a couple little tricks to get the defense to jump off sides.
He knows a little thing or two about quarterbacking.
Just a little bit. Number 15 all-time in career passing yards in the NFL. When he was at Santa Margarita playing, he had 27 school records, but KJ Costello ended up breaking a lot of those records, so Carson Palmer doesn't have as many now, but still got a feel.
When your pedigree is that good,
yes,
your quarterbacks will listen to you. Here is Johnson back in the shotgun with the back to his left. Now he's going to move Smith to his right. Mosley went in motion, now resets, low snap again. Johnson with some time. Here comes the pressure. He's rolling out, going to throw on the run. Has a man open. Pass complete to Gazaniga. Breaks a tackle down the sideline. Breaks another, and he's going to be down at the 1-yard line.
What a throw by Trace Johnson, and what a job by Gazanga in open field to go all the way down to the 1-yard line. This dude's 6'4", 230 pounds. And he's going to have a big role for Santa Margarita's offense this year as a junior.
Boy, bounced off the first tackler, Gazaniga, very difficult to bring down. But we have a penalty marker all the way back in the backfield. And this play may be coming back.
Wow, big penalty on Santa Margarita. Would have had 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. I got a little too excited seeing what's going on down there. I didn't see the laundry back at the 47.
I didn't. I just saw a lot of heads down for Santa Margarita, and they were walking the wrong way.
Yeah.
I was like, let's look for some laundry, and there it was. Well, and let's look at the pedigree of head coach Bob Johnson, who's in the California High School Football Hall of Fame, coached at Mission Viejo, coached at El Toro High School, coached his son Rob Johnson, who's now the quarterback's coach for Mission Viejo. When he was at El Toro, his older son Brett Johnson played there as well, ended up going to UCLA for a while. Rob went to USC, and then Bob moved over from El Toro to Mission Viejo, and boy, what a program he created there.
Yeah, and an even cooler backstory, too, is when Carson Palmer was down in SoCal as a 7th grader, who do you think was the guy that was kind of teaching him how to play quarterback? The legendary Bob Johnson.
Well, he turned 2 sons into pretty darn good quarterbacks as well. Rob spending time in the NFL after his USC career. Some pretty good quarterbacks they churn out of Southern California year in and year out.
Very, very true.
After the penalty, a quick pass to the outside, and this time Mission Viejo was going to make sure Gazzaniga did not get an opportunity to get yards after the catch. They tackle him immediately.
Yeah, nice job by the sophomore DB, Jordan Hicks, coming up. And that's a smart move. You're going up against a guy that's 6'4", 230, go low. Jordan Hicks got a few offers. Arkansas, Louisville, Maryland, Miami, Syracuse. He actually was on Santa Margarita last year as a freshman, and he played quite a bit and decided to come over to Mission Viejo and starting as a sophomore. That's a very good cornerback unit with him and Jaron Jones.
And a guy who learns quickly after watching that last play from Gazzaniga. Yeah. He's like, hey, let's go low this time and start trying to wrap up high, huh? And it worked. Second down. Play action. Blitz coming. Johnson throws, hits his tight end. They're going to go low this time. Gazzaniga breaks one tackle before he's knocked down near the Mission Viejo 41-yard line. We'll bring up third in a much more manageable situation for these Eagles.
Yeah, Carson Palmer and the offensive coordinator, Lenny Vandermeer, they're like, oh, we saw what Gazzaniga can do in open field. Let's go ahead and start getting number 9, The Rock.
Well, it's a lot of weapons Santa Margarita has. You've got Smith in the backfield, and then both Mosley brothers, of course, we've talked about a lot. But now you start deploying the tight end. You focus there across the middle. Now it frees up the outside for the Mosleys.
Yeah, and that's the one thing with Trent Mosley. You can tell Mission Viejo's doing a good job putting multiple guys on him. So that's giving Grant Mosley and a couple other guys a chance to shine here tonight.
Third down and a long 6 for Santa Margarita. Sprinting out left is Johnson. Pursuit by Mission Viejo, and this ball is going to be thrown away. Nothing there. Nice coverage downfield. They'll bring up fourth down, and you're in that in-between territory, Zach, where you're too far for a field goal, maybe a little too close for a punt. Let's see what the Eagles elect to do here. Well, it looks like they're going to bring the punting unit on. Maybe not so close for a punt.
I think that's the right decision to make, especially if you can get a punt down inside the 10-yard line. Make Mission Viejo have to go the full length of the field, especially their offensive line has played really well so far, but you want to put a little bit of pressure on that young offensive line, a few guys making their first starts. So if you can kind of get them back near their own end zone, could force a turnover and maybe even get a safety.
Well, and that drive started at the Santa Margarita 5-yard line, so they've flipped the field here as Clark on to punt. Junker awaits. Last time he had a fair catch, he's calling for one again, and he hustles up and makes the grab at the 20-yard line, so it's 21 yards net on that punt. But Mission Viejo now with their worst field position of the game so far, starting at their own 20. Their previous two drives at their own 25, and then their 46-yard line.
And I know that's a dangerous play to make for Junker, but a tremendous job, because if he doesn't come up to field that punt, that most likely is going to roll inside the 10. So nice job by the junior wide receiver. That's what the thing I love most about him and Vance Spafford. Those are two of the smartest wide receivers, not just in California, but the entire country.
Well, and not lacking in confidence. You could even see it last year with Junker. Even though he wasn't getting a lot of balls thrown his way early, you just knew, you could see there was a lot of confidence that he could do the job. Man in motion, that's Luke Carby, the tight end, to the far side. And then we got a false start against Mission Viejo. As pretty much every official who had a flag threw one there.
Yeah. And you just look at the job that Chad Johnson has done since coming over from Mission Viejo. That's got to be tough. I mean, you're coming in after Bob Johnson, who did a tremendous job with Mission Viejo. And back in 2023, Chad Johnson led this Diablos team to their first state title since 2015, beat De La Salle. And last year was the first year they finished ranked in the MaxPreps top 25 since 2015. So Chad Johnson doing a tremendous job with this Diablos program.
He looking to throw. Here comes the pressure. He's going to get away from it. He's looking for someone to pass to. And he's finally going to be tackled in the backfield back at the 14-yard line, a loss of 1. Nice job by Fahey avoiding the rush. And just going back to Chad Johnson, you may wonder, well, Bob Johnson, Chad Johnson, relation? No.
Nope. No.
Just coincidence. Both good coaches.
Johnson's in this Mission Viejo program. And he started here with Jason Negro coaching at Trabuco Hills High School, and followed Jason Negro over to St. John Bosco as the offensive coordinator for the Braves. He was there the year they won state with Josh Rosen. Came here in 2018. Gone 63-16 through his first 7 years.
2nd and 16. Fahey going to throw that pass right near the sideline, and the officials say completion. Nice catch right at the marker.
That's why that
Spafford, wow,
one of the baddest dudes in high school football, able to go down and dig that one out for a first down.
Yeah, that's a pass at the high school level that is mostly uncatchable for a lot of receivers, and Spafford goes and gets it at the 30. And to know exactly where you are on the field, so you're making the catch at the first down line instead of a few yards shy, just fantastic route running.
Having him and Fahey makes it a lot easier for Chad Johnson to have a lot of new faces this year. Both those guys are just so dependable.
Fresh set of downs for Mission Viejo. Fahey's going to throw across the middle, and he's got a man wide open. That pass is caught for another first down as Carby with a catch in Santa Margarita territory.
Just a perfect throw. You love the quick release that Luke Fahey's got, just right over the linebacker. And Luke Carby, a guy that's going to have a bigger role this year, 6'4", 205-pound junior wide receiver.
Mission Viejo staying away from the running game a little bit. Devontae Curtis in the backfield, but has yet to carry the ball on this possession. Play action to Curtis here. Fahey drops back. Nice protection. Throw near side. Pass caught. Breaking one tackle before being knocked down is Carson Vandermeid, his first reception of the year, as he takes it inside the 35-yard line. Tackle on the play by Karan Williams.
Yeah, Dylan Faley, the left tackle, doing a very, very good job. Anytime he's been lined up against Samote Catawanga, a 2026 USC commit, one of the top-rated prospects in the state of California.
Yeah, Faley's been pretty good so far. Here's Curtis getting a carry. Not much there. There's not been much in the running game so far for Mission Viejo here in the first half. That's a gain of 1 to the 31-yard line. Folks, you are looking at the scoreboard if you're just joining us. That is correct. No score so far. This has been a battle between the 20s and in one case to the 1-yard line before Santa Margarita held on the last possession for Mission Viejo.
Gain of about 2 on the play.
Yeah, and the biggest play for Santa Margarita got called back, so...
That's right. That pass to Luke Kazaniga, the holding penalty in the backfield, slowed that offensive momentum for the Eagles. But Mission Viejo, starting at their own 20-yard line here, is pushed into Santa Margarita territory. Second down, let's call it 8 after a 2-yard gain. Play action. Pressure coming. Fahey's going to roll away from it. Throw downfield. He's got a man with a step into double coverage. Incomplete. Santa Margarita fans think they have an interception, but Mission Viejo started playing a little defense there, and Junker knocked the football away. As that ball slightly underthrown, it'll make it 3rd down.
And that was a sophomore prime, Karan Williams, one of the best in the class of 2028. An outstanding job by Junker to go up and play a little DB and never even would have got a foot in bounds even if he caught it.
Nice defense by Williams back there. 3rd down. Eagles showing blitz. Here they come with the house. Fahey's going to be tackled in the backfield. We also have a penalty marker down. 2nd sack of the game for Santa Margarita's defense.
A nice job by Ryan Clark to get to Fahey in the backfield.
Clark's not just a punter. Yeah, it's a pretty good pass rusher for a punter. We've got a block below the knees against Mission Viejo. And this penalty is going to be declined. So that'll bring up 4th down back at the Santa Margarita 46-yard line and the punting unit on for the Diablos.
Yeah, and Ryan Clark was a guy that Santa Margarita's coaching staff very, very high on, only a sophomore. And every time Santa Margarita's defense has had to make a play, they've come up big here in the first half because Mission Viejo has definitely done a better job moving the ball.
Actually, I think that was Vi Manitai, number 15 on that tackle. That looks more like it.
Yes.
I was pretty surprised the punter was getting sacks. Clark also a wide receiver, but yes. 16 and 15 can look pretty tight on these jerseys, especially at night.
I think it might be time I might need to get glasses.
Here's a punt. Murguia, fantastic punt, and it's going to be down inside the 5. No, touchback. Mission Viejo almost got to it before it went into the end zone, but instead a touchback. Great hustle down the field by Jaron Jones, excuse me. So Santa Margarita, their 3rd possession, Zach, and this is their best field position of the entire first half, starting at their own 20.
Yeah, I think this is a drive. We're just under the 4-minute mark here. I think this is the time we see Trent Mosley getting a little more involved. And the thing that makes him so dangerous, you can get him the ball just quick and open space. He's not really a downfield threat. He's the guy that can make guys miss. It's very rare you see the first guy bring down the 4-star USC commit.
All the timeouts available for Carson Palmer and his coaching staff here. And under 4 minutes to go in the half. Santa Margarita will get the ball to begin the second half of play. So they have an opportunity here to get a little 2-for-1 action, get a score before the end of the half, try to score again at the start of the second half. Handoff to Smith, however, is not going to yield much. In fact, he's going to lose another yard back to the 19 as the Diablos defense has been really good against the run.
Yeah, neither team has really been able to establish a running game, and I think the first team that can kind of establish a running game is going to just open things up in the passing attack and could end up being a big factor in this one.
I just want to highlight, too, that Ryan Clark has now entered the game at receiver.
Yes.
Just for both of us up here, so we're aware.
And he's a guy that they were talking about, too, that can make plays, along with Jake Martin, another sophomore. Yeah, I should have known because Ryan Clark's listed at 5'9", 160, and that wasn't the case for the sack.
Yeah, Manitai is a lot bigger than that. Play action? No. It's going to be a delayed handoff far side. Nice bit of deception there, but Mission Viejo, good pursuit sideline to sideline. Smith will get yardage out to the 21-yard line, but that's a short 2-yard gain. Nice job. Great pursuit by Jordan Hicks. Boy, as a corner, you're really out in an island. You got to play man coverage, press coverage out there, and then simultaneously, if there's a running play your way, you've got to hold the line on that side, and Hicks did a great job there.
And that's what makes him and Jaron Jones so special. Those two corners are not afraid to come up and make big tackles.
Officials are going to say a 3-yard gain, so after the loss of 1, it's 3rd and 8. Mission Viejo trying to get a stop, get the ball back. They do have 3 timeouts as well, and they'd have a shorter field to work with here before the end of the half. Low snap. Johnson looking right, throwing right. Gazaniga's got it. He's going to try to stiff arm a guy. He's going to be close to a first down. I think he's got it. Boy, he is so difficult to bring down. It takes 4 Diablos to finally shove him out of bounds. And the chains move for the Eagles.
So far, he's got an offer from Sac State. I wouldn't be shocked if that number grows tomorrow. Just seeing this guy, he's just tough to bring down, and he's got a perfect body playing the tight end position. It's still only a junior, so he's got room to get a little bigger.
Well, you see early on here in this year that the Johnson to Gazaniga connection might be a nice outlet type of pass, pressure release when the pressure starts coming in from the defensive line and the Mosleys are covered downfield. Johnson, quick out far side. And look out, Trent Mosley, he's explosive, heading down the field. Santa Margarita is going to get on the board first.
So we got a flag in the backfield. Have to wait and see what this one is.
Oh, boy. And it's going to be a holding penalty against Santa Margarita.
Wow.
Those points coming off the board.
That just shows you the ability of Trent Mosley, though. Just a quick little swing pass, and boom, turns on the Jets down the sideline. But this one's coming back to a big penalty on Santa Margarita.
Maybe it was the hold on the outside there on the corner?
Yeah, it looked like that was he's going to be mad at little bro there. It looked like that was Grant Mosley blocking on the outside. It looked like there was a little bit of contact going both ways, but refs call it on Mosley.
Boy, that is the second big play. You mentioned it, Zach, for Santa Margarita that's been called back. One down to the 1-yard line, and now this one where Trent Mosley ended up in the end zone. So now the ball back at the 25-yard line. That's a 10-yard loss from the spot of the foul, which was at the 35. So first down and 18. There's a toss quickly to Smith, who's going to run into his own offensive lineman, but good yardage there. He'll be close to a first down.
Yeah, that's a good pickup on 1st and 18. Get all the penalty yardage back.
Number 1 on the carry.
But that just shows you the ability of Trent Mosley. You got to find ways to get him the ball. He's just such a great playmaker in the open field.
Along with 77, Neva Nicholson.
And, I mean, I just remember the game last year against Corona Centennial. He had over 200 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. and showed why he's one of the best players, not just in California, but the entire country.
I said close to a first down. I was looking at the first marker, not the second marker. I forgot about, they were looking at 1st and 18, not 1st and 10. So now 2nd and 10. Thank you, Zach. Low snap, Johnson throws near side. Trent Mosley the catch. He's going to break a tackle. He's got a first down plus, and he's in Mission Viejo territory at the 41.
You got to get this guy the rock, man. He's that dude. He's definitely a get your popcorn ready player. Just a complete package. He reminds me so much of Amon-Ra St. Brown, just the way he's built, and he doesn't drop any balls, and he's just great avoiding the first tackler as well.
Yeah, that one-on-one situation out there, that's a really dangerous position as a corner after Mosley gets the football. A lot of time left for Santa Margarita. They're going to spot the ball, or the officials at the 42-yard line of Mission Viejo. They saw those 3 timeouts. Johnson's going to hand it off this time. Smith going to run to the near side, and he will be knocked out of bounds near the 40. That will stop the clock.
Yeah, this really couldn't have gone any better for Santa Margarita, because they're going to most likely have the last possession here in the first half, and then they get the ball to start the second half as well. So if they can get some points here and then get the ball to start the second half, that could really help them gain momentum and start to build maybe even a 2-score lead. It's so funny with Coach Palmer. Trent Mosley came out to get a little breather. Hey, one play, get back out there, dude.
No rest.
We need you, man.
I know, you're making plays.
Yeah, Carson Palmer's got to be impressed with his team, especially the defense here in his first game as head coach, as Mission Viejo calls a timeout here with 1:06 left.
Yeah, the Diablos want to gather themselves defensively. Well, this is an interesting sequence here, because you've had a big battle for both of these teams making big plays, and then Santa Margarita. That goal line stand was huge, but boy, those 2 mistakes on those penalties, they could easily be up 14-0 right now. But again, Mission Viejo could have had 7 points as well.
Yeah, and that's kind of, you're going to see that early in the season, penalties and just kind of miscues. Those are stuff that's going to get cleaned up once you get into league play. So you don't care as much now, but when you get into league play, that's when the games really matter a little more. But at Santa Margarita, it's going to feel like every week is a playoff game for them with the opponents they're going to be playing. Also, Mission Viejo in a couple weeks, they're going to play Folsom from Northern California. You get a chance to see, this is weird to say, but a 5-star BYU commit. He's one of the best quarterbacks in high school football. He's sure fun to watch. That's a game I can't wait to see on September 5th.
Mission Viejo going down to play Lincoln in San Diego the week after that.
Another great program.
Yeah, they've won the state titles the last 2 out of the last 3 years. And Long Beach Poly on the schedule. San Clemente's pretty good too. So there's a lot of good teams on that schedule for Mission Viejo. Not quite as good as Santa Margarita's, but not a slouch schedule either.
No, it's a very, very tough schedule. And, Mission Viejo, San Clemente, one of the best rivalries in SoCal.
Trent Mosley in motion, and now we've got a whistle. And did we get another timeout called here?
Looks like it.
Mission Viejo called another one, back to back.
Well, good thing this isn't the NFL. Not allowed to do that at that level, but high school you can call all 3 timeouts in a row if you want.
What's kind of interesting is that it was Mission Viejo set up for one formation, and then suddenly you had Smith deep in the backfield, you had Johnson under center, and I think, Carson Palmer is having a conversation with Jim Stickney there about back-to-back timeout calls. Perhaps we speculate.
That on Sundays.
Yes.
You can't do that, but on this level, I've seen it plenty of times where you'll see a coach call 3 straight timeouts trying to ice a kicker. You don't see it as much on back-to-back plays when the offense is on the field. Usually you see that trying to ice a kicker or something like that.
There's going to be all these kinds of transitions for Carson Palmer over the course of his coaching, especially this first season. And here's one right out of the gate where he's like, wait a minute, I don't remember that was allowed.
And that's the nice thing.
It's been a few years since he played high school.
Yes, that's the nice thing with Carson Palmer, too. He's got a very dependable coaching staff, guys he can kind of lean on. Steve Fafita, defensive coordinator. And then Lenny Vandermeer, who was coaching at St. Ignatius up in San Francisco the last 2 years, also spent time coaching at Santa Margarita before that. And, of course, Vandermeer's a guy that was protecting Carson Palmer at USC. Started on the offensive line all 4 years, played 3 years with Carson Palmer. And they're really, the guys that really got USC back on the map right during that Pete Carroll era.
our delay on the field right now. They're trying to get the clock set to 1:06. So that's what they've done. They've added a second back on there. So we've got the clock straightened out. Mission Viejo down to their final timeout. Johnson going to hand it off. Smith looking for some running room. He's going to be met inside the 40 down around the 37-yard line. And time under a minute to play in the first half.
And this is kind of what you want. You got third and manageable. Don't be surprised if they look for the big tight end, Luke Gazaniga here.
Yeah, Gazaniga's lined up in a stack with two other receivers on the left side of the line. One to the near side. Johnson looking, throwing. He's got a man underneath. That's not Gazaniga. It's a nice gain, though, for Jake Martin, the sophomore, with a reception down to the 20-yard line. And Santa Margarita is going to burn their first timeout here. Well, that's a nice job. You kind of hide Martin behind the tight end Gazaniga, and he gets the catch. He was all alone there in the middle of the field.
Yeah, just a heads-up job by the sophomore. Found some open space. Stop. Hey, quarterback, throw me the rock.
Tackle on the play by Jordan Hicks, who seems to be everywhere right now for Mission Viejo's defense. So you're now in field goal range if you're Santa Margarita minimally. You've still got two timeouts you can use. 31 seconds on the clock. Zach, the playbook's pretty open here for the Eagles. If they want to run the football, they can, and they've been doing that on this drive. Really no panic in this final 2 minutes. Like Carson Palmer was actually engineering the drive himself from the field, not on the sideline.
And it's funny to think, I mean, Carson Palmer's probably a lot more nervous being a head coach than he was playing on Sundays. And don't be surprised here, Jeff, if you see a play, get Trent Mosley in motion, maybe try a little quick pass to him, and you've got to get number 4 in the open field.
Well, Jaron Jones is going to pick him up on the near side here. That's where Trent Mosley is. Same formation. Santa Margarita coming out in it again. Grant Mosley, Gazaniga, and Martin. That stack of 3 receivers off the left hip of their left tackle. Smith in the backfield to Johnson's right. Mission Viejo showing blitz. They're going to drop instead into coverage. Pass underneath is going to be caught. Breaking a couple of tackles. Boy, these receivers are slippery. Down to the 11-yard line. The catch by Mosley. That was Trent with a reception. A gain of 9 yards. And Santa Margarita is going to use their second timeout with 18 seconds left in the half.
And that was kind of tough for Carson Palmer. You could kind of see it. Wait, do I want to call a timeout here? Wasn't sure if they picked up the first down to stop the clock momentarily, but smart move to get the timeout called. This is kind of a perfect situation, too. You got 2nd and 1. You can run it to move the chains, get a first, or you could get some open space with one of your wide receivers if you do a little play action.
Yeah, maybe a fade route to the corner, especially right on that second down.
Yeah.
And you still have that one timeout. If you throw a fade, it's incomplete. Clock stops. You can run the ball real quick, call a timeout, take a couple shots at the end zone. If you don't make it, field goal. I mean, just like that, Zach. It's that easy. Come on.
I mean, you think, you'd be a head coach.
Oh, there's a reason I'm up here in the headset with a headset on with you.
It's a lot easier to call plays up here.
Yes.
But Santa Margarita's got to just walk away with some type of points on this drive, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown. You want to get some momentum going into halftime, especially when you get the ball to start the second half.
This time, Clark's going to be in the front of that stack. Gazaniga in the back with Grant Mosley. Trent to the near side. In the red zone, 2nd and 1 from the 11. Johnson going to throw. There's that fade. It's going to be incomplete. A little bit of hand checking with Jones there, but that pass wasn't catchable.
Yeah, nice coverage by Jaron Jones.
Well, there's step 1. You throw the fade. It's incomplete. Now it's 3rd and 1. You can run the ball if you want, get the first down.
And that's the nice thing having a big-time corner. You can leave him one-on-one, leave him on the island, especially against a guy as talented as Trent Mosley. Yeah, definitely not enough contact there to throw the flag.
That's a great senior-on-senior matchup.
Yes, 4-on-4.
Now Grant Mosley's going to be picked up by Jones. Trent's on the far side of the field.
Trace Johnson, too. He's a guy that can move around a little bit. Very mobile quarterback. See if maybe if something's not open, he takes off and runs.
Here's a quick out far side. They're going to let Trent Mosley go to work. He's going to get the first down. He'll be spun down at the 6-yard line. And now Santa Margarita is going to call a timeout. The clock goes to 0. I think Coach Palmer is going to get a few ticks back.
Well, and yeah, the clock should have stopped on a first down.
Yes.
So they'll put 5 or 6 seconds back on the clock, and
I mean, he's
going to get his last timeout called. Hopefully they figure this out. It's pretty easy to figure out. Should be about 5-6 seconds left. Timeout Santa Margarita.
Carson Palmer is arguing for that right now.
If you're Chad Johnson, like, hey guys, let's head to the locker room.
Of course. Actually, I think what he's saying is, hey, look, the clock should stop. We're going to get up the line of scrimmage, spike the football, and then we're going to consider what we want to do. You got some guys coming in and out, and now Mission Viejo is going to call a timeout. They were shuffling defensive personnel in and out, and it got a little chaotic. This actually helps Santa Margarita a bit.
Now they don't have to use their timeout, and we'll see how much time they put back on the clock. It says 6 seconds.
Yep, that's what the call is from down on the field. So a little bit of clock management issue going on, but that happens at the beginning of the year. You're communicating with a press box. Usually press box clocks at the high school level are run by a member of the staff at the high school who's hosting, not an official referee or a clock operator.
The ref's trying to get his attention up here. Hey, 6 seconds.
He is jumping up and down. I think he needs to shoot a flare.
And you get a look
there we go.
On the sideline. You got TJ Hushmanzada down there as well. He's helping out on Santa Margarita's coaching staff.
Yeah, there are a lot of former NFL players on this coaching staff. Yeah. Mike Cyphers kicks the former punter for the San Diego Chargers, and I say San Diego specifically because that's where he played.
You still sound a little hurt.
I do.
LA.
A little bit.
I can hear it in the voice.
You know, that scab comes off pretty easily. A lot of good coaches on both sidelines, whether they played in the NFL or not. They do a great job with these kids and these programs.
And the nice thing for Santa Margarita is they still got a timeout in their back pocket if someone gets tackled before the end zone.
First and goal for Johnson, 6 seconds left in the half. He's going to throw. The ball deflected, and is it intercepted? No, out of bounds, incomplete.
Wow, that was close. And 1 second left on the clock.
Jordan Hicks.
Man, like you said, he's been everywhere.
Got his hand. I don't know who got his. Oh, Hill got his hands on the football, and Hicks with the catch, but his foot was on the line. Great call by our official down there. So the field goal unit is coming on for Santa Margarita.
Yeah, great job by J.D. Hill. One of the key returners on this defense, had over 100 tackles and 30.5 tackles for loss last season and 16.5 sacks. But nice job there to drop back into coverage and just show his football IQ.
Trace Johnson's going to be the holder here. Tyler Wiegand is the field goal kicker. And now Santa Margarita is going to use their final timeout, because why would you want to take that in the locker room with you? You might as well use it. They're going to talk this over. The ball at the 6-yard line. No chance they go for it here. I mean, you take the points, yes?
I wouldn't say no chance. I would say slim chance. But, yeah, if I'm Santa Margarita here, you kick the field goal. You kick the field goal, get some points on the board, head into the locker room up 3-0. What do you think? You're going to kick the field goal, right?
I would, yeah. Let's look at some upcoming games coming up here on our Game of the Week. We're going to be in the Bay Area next week for De La Salle against Lakeland. That's next week. Centennial Santa Margarita is going to be on the NFHS network. Sierra Canyon Oaks Christian.
That's a good game right there. Yeah. Sierra Canyon, number 21, have arguably the best secondary in the country.
These are really good games coming up. MaxPreps and the NFHS network. Your home for high school sports, folks. It's all here.
And Texas opens up next week as well. Austin, Westlake, and Prosper, and then 2 big-time programs in Aledo and Denton Guyer.
Wiegand from the left hash marks from 23 yards away. Good snap. Kick on the way, and that kick is good, and we've got our first points of this game. Santa Margarita gets a field goal as time expires.
Yeah, nice drive by Santa Margarita to close out the first half. especially, earlier had that touchdown negated by Trent Mosley. Good job to keep their heads in the game. Nice drive. And smart move to go for the field goal there. Don't get too crazy and go for a touchdown. You got it at the 6-yard line.
Johnson engineers a 74-yard drive, and it culminates in a 23-yard field goal. Santa Margarita, a 3-0 lead going into the break. It's the MaxPreps Game of the Week.
The MaxPreps Game of the Week is brought to you by GoFan, the leading ticketing solution for high schools. Skip the line and get your tickets instantly on the GoFan app. And by the NFHS Network. Watch your favorite teams live and on demand with the largest broadcast network for high school sports.
Number one priority is protecting our players. That's why we're writing new rules for the sport and developing innovative educational tools that protect our athletes. This is player protection. This is high school football.
Back here at Trabuco Hills High School, where Santa Margarita enjoys a 3-0 lead over Mission Viejo. Jeff Kurtz alongside Zach Poff. We're at halftime, and what an interesting first half it was, Zach. A lot of big plays called back, a lot of big stops defensively. Only 3 points on the board, but an exciting first 24 minutes of play.
Yeah, the thing that really jumped out for me was when a play needed to be made defensively, both defenses really stepped up. But I think that was a big drive by Santa Margarita to close out the first half. They get the ball first to start the second half, so see if they get some momentum to start off the last 24 minutes of the game.
Let's look at the first half highlights, and there were a lot of highlights. Didn't result in a lot of scoring, but a lot of highlights in that first half.
Yeah, a lot of defensive highlights. I was impressed with Trace Johnson in the first half. Oh, what a catch by Grant Mosley.
And then here, the defensive stand for, first Fahey absorbing a great hit just to get a second effort and pick up a couple more yards. But this was a fantastic stop defensively by Santa Margarita's defense. This whole sequence inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, that's kind of the most important drive for Santa Margarita's defense. They kind of kept momentum on their side. Luke Fahey is a guy that, though, he shows he can get outside the pocket and make some great throws. But Van Spafford, man, what a catch.
Yeah, Spafford with some great hands and some seams open up the middle. A lot of movement between the 20s inside the 10-yard line. Nobody getting into the end zone yet. There's that field goal that ended the first half of play with Santa Margarita getting on the board to give us that 3-0 score through the first 24 minutes of play. Well, folks, we'll be back with more here on the MaxPreps Game of the Week halftime show. Again, your score 3-0 Santa Margarita over Mission Viejo. Back after this.
Our #1 priority is protecting our players. That's why we're writing new rules for the sport and developing innovative educational tools to protect our athletes. This is player protection. This is high school football.
Halftime continues here at Trabuco Hills High School, where Santa Margarita is playing their opening game of the season. Mission Viejo and Santa Margarita in a defensive battle here on a nice evening in Southern California. The temperatures dropped a little bit, not so much in the press box, but on the field.
I mean, you saw me sweating on the pregame, man. It's pretty hot here, but I'll take this over lightning and 2.5-hour delay.
Yeah, we've had a nice, good run so far. Let's go back to Georgia, shall we, last week? And let's look at the top 10 from the state of Georgia. And really looking at last week's game, Grayson, a huge win over Collins Hill, and some highlights from last week. But there are a lot of top 10 plays here.
Yeah, this just shows you how good Georgia high school football is.
Yeah, just the sequence of plays for these teams in Georgia, it's just really fantastic. And Grayson was a big part of that as well. Let's look at the top 25 now as we roll through halftime on the MaxPreps Game of the Week. And, boy, this is a pretty good list, Zach.
Yeah, and, St. John Bosco looked pretty good. They won 31-0 earlier today in a shortened weather game. Won 31-0 against Manatee. I just got word that American Heritage came back and won that game, and I believe they were trailing 28-0 at one point. So I guess that Dia-Bell dude is actually pretty good, but we got some big-time games. St. Francis Chaminade play tomorrow. Number 21 Sierra Canyon's playing tonight. They're up 14-0 on J. Sarah last time I checked. And Corona Centennial, the team Santa Margarita, is going to be playing next week. they're beating Servite pretty good here in the first half, 21-0.
Yeah, folks, and those are games you can watch on the NFHS Network. And as we look at our schedule for next week as well, I mean, we threw that up right before the end of the first half. But, folks, you know, De La Salle, Lakeland, that'll be available on MaxPreps on our YouTube channel and on the NFHS Network as well. But all these other games are going to be all on the network. You'll want to get a pass so you can watch all of those.
100%. These are games you don't want to miss. We were talking about that Santa Margarita Corona Centennial game. You know Matt Logan wants to get some get back on Santa Margarita after last year when Trent Mosley had a big-time game against them. Sierra Canyon, Oaks Christian, a team on the rise. They're kind of back to where they were with Zach Charbonnet and Kayvon Thibodeau. I think they're going to be a team that makes some noise in California. But number 21, Sierra Canyon, is not going to be an easy game. They got a big-time secondary. Texas starts next week, too. That's going to be a get-your-popcorn-ready week in the Lone Star State. Jeff, I can't wait. I'm getting pretty excited up here, just getting ready for next week. But we got a big second half coming up here at Trabuco Hills High School. Santa Margarita up 3-0. Jeff, this is going to be a fun second half. I can't wait.
The MaxPreps Game of the Week is brought to you by GoFan, the leading ticketing solution for high schools. Skip the line and get your tickets instantly on the GoFan app. And by the NFHS Network. Watch your favorite teams live and on demand with the largest broadcast network for high school sports. High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
Let's look at some of the notable alumni for these two schools, starting with the visiting team tonight, Mission Viejo. And as we'll do every week, looking at alumni. And, boy, this is a pretty good class. Julie Foudy, former U.S. women's soccer player, Jordan Palmer, Mark Sanchez, another USC guy. That's a lot of good players on here. Patrick Sandoval, pitcher. Used to play with the Angels.
I knew you were going to bring up the Angels.
I know. Well, you got it. Well, look, Julie Foudy, actually, I graduated in '89. I went to Dana Hills locally. We used to watch Foudy play. Our soccer team was really good. Foudy was at a whole nother level. Mission Viejo's soccer team was really dominant at that point in time.
And how funny is that? Jordan Palmer, younger brother of Carson Palmer.
Exactly.
Mission Viejo. Yeah, and you just look at the quarterbacks that have come here. Mark Sanchez, big time. And Tanner Beebe, a nice pitcher. And then you got Elijah Griffin, who is a standout for Mission Viejo, the son of Warren G. And then you got Dejon Lee, who's now at Alabama, going to probably play a lot as a true freshman. So make sure, hit us up in YouTube. Let us know. We're going to see Santa Margarita's alumni coming up next. Who do you think has the alumni? I think last week was pretty easy with Collins Hill. This week, a little tighter, Jeff.
Yeah, Santa Margarita, obviously Brian Finneran, who Trent Mosley is chasing right now for most receptions all time. He's tied him for most consecutive games with a reception. Carson Palmer, obviously Chris Ricks. Clay Thompson. I actually got to watch Clay play when he was at Santa Margarita. I used to cover him back in the day. Trace Thompson, his brother, and then Griffin Canning, also an Angels pitcher. Look, I'm telling you, I'm all over the Angels pitchers. Yes. This is a good list as well.
Yeah, I'm leaning Santa Margarita.
I would agree.
You got Carson Palmer. Shout out Chris Ricks. He was a great quarterback at Santa Margarita, at Florida State as well, but he's just a big figure in covering high school football down here in SoCal. Does a tremendous job. He's one of the better guys, not just at what he does, but he's just a great human being. And yeah, I think you got the Thompson brothers. Obviously, you had Michael Thompson too, the older brother of Clay and Trace. River Craycraft, stud.
Yeah, Clay Thompson went for over 30 in a state championship game.
Wow.
At basketball, just shades of what was to come with the Golden State Warriors.
I mean,
down the road.
He did the Sacramento Kings dirty, like 5-6 years ago, had 32 points in a quarter, I believe. So he's pretty good at basketball. He's a big catfish spaghetti guy now, apparently. So
well, and his dad played for the Lakers and in the NBA for a long time. His brother played for the Dodgers, amongst other major league teams.
He had a nice run when he first came to the Dodgers as well.
Do you know, it actually reminds me a little bit of the Miller family.
Yeah.
Reggie Miller, Cheryl Miller, and their older brother Daryl Miller, who is a professional baseball player with...
Oh, I never heard of him.
With the Angels.
Oh, of course.
He was the catcher.
Of course. Reggie Miller, big Angel fan from Riverside. So, I mean, it's got to hurt, though, when your sister's better at basketball.
I know, that especially in high school. All right, folks. Halftime winding down. Second half underway in just a few moments. Santa Margarita leading 3-0. They're going to get the football first. We'll see if they can put some more points on the board right after this.
Thank you.
This high school gym used to be packed most nights. Not anymore. Do you know why? Because bad behavior by fans, especially adults, has caused a shortage of game officials across the country. You see, without officials, we can't have sports. Don't let this become reality. It's time for a change. Let's bench bad behavior for good.
We have about a minute and a half before the second half starts, which gives us time to look at California's notable players since 2020.
Wow.
And, every list we throw up here is a pretty good one, and this one is stacked.
Well, you look at it, C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young went back-to-back in the same draft. Brock Bowers, you're going to probably be the best tight end in football in the next 2 to 3 years. Josh Simmons, first-round pick by the Chiefs. Xavier Worthy, first-round pick by the Chiefs. Mason Graham and Tetro McMillan, what a duo that was at Servite. You had Noah Fafita at quarterback, obviously Jacob Manu at linebacker as well. Nico Iamaleava now at UCLA. I'm telling you, man, Makai Lemon, he's going to ball out this year at USC, and then Matayo Uiagalelei, the younger brother of DJ Uiagalelei, will most likely be a first-round pick after this year.
And that's just since 2020. I mean,
yeah.
And 2020 was kind of a throwaway year for a lot of teams anyway.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty remarkable that all these players have really...
Don't bring that back up. That was tough covering high school football in 2020. Everything got moved to the spring in California. It was that was tough.
It was weird because I would go to a baseball game and call that, and then turn around and go to a football game in the evening, and it felt like the world was completely out of balance. And it was in a lot of ways, but at the high school level, that was very strange.
When you were calling those games as well, was there fans allowed?
Yes, but distanced.
Okay. Yeah.
Distance, So, it was a very interesting time we all went through. But fortunately, things are looking a little more normal these days. At least is how we remember them pre-pandemic. Right now, the score 3-0, and the offenses have been facing some stiff defense, both sides. And Santa Margarita in the first half with a great goal line stand, but then a couple of plays close to the end zone and one that got in the end zone, turned back on penalties. In the first half of play, 5 penalties for Santa Margarita, but they also had 9 first downs offensively. Mission Viejo just 3 penalties, but only 5 first downs.
Yeah, I feel like this game, it's 3-0, but you haven't seen the amount of penalties you usually see in a first game. But the penalties that have been called on Santa Margarita, 2 huge penalties, but still a good drive to get at least 3 points on the scoreboard.
Yeah, the penalties have been very critical.
Yes.
As opposed to, a false start on a 1st and 10. Okay, well, that could be detrimental, but not as bad as when you score a touchdown and the ball has to come all the way back to your side of the field.
Yeah, and I tell you what, though, if you're a USC fan, and even though the touchdown didn't count, you're excited to see Trent Mosley when he makes plays like that, because he's just so dangerous in the open field. And he's kind of got a running back body where he breaks off tackles a lot, but he has that wide receiver speed.
Yeah, you've had both Mosleys and Gazaniga who've absorbed hits and then gotten more yards after the hit. We've got yards after the catch. What about yards after a hit? YAH, am I inventing a new stat? There's got to be something already.
Try and throw out a new acronym there, but I guess
YAH, but it's called
to say is yak.
No, that's true.
Yaw?
A yaw? I don't know if I want to start that trend. Mission Viejo kicking off, now going right to left across your screen. This is Murguia. Ball in the air, heading towards the end zone, and it will be back there for an automatic touchback, and Santa Margarita will have the ball at their own 20, which again has been the best field position they've had in the game. Only 3 possessions for each team in the first half, 6 in total. That clock was moving. A lot of plays in bounds, a lot of long drives that stalled.
I think things went pretty well for Carson Palmer in his first half as the head coach here at Santa Margarita. I think he's got to be happy, especially what he's seeing with his defensive unit. This is a big drive, though, to start the second half. I think Trace Johnson, a guy that's getting more and more comfortable as this game's gone on.
Well, one thing we should do, maybe when we get a moment, is look at our keys to the game again. And, let's compare how they did in the first half with what we thought and see what the second half is going to look like. Johnson's going to start under center with Smith in the backfield, the deep back. They're going to hand it off to him. He's going to cut back and find a hole heading to the near side. Nice read by Smith. He's going to bounce out of bounds right near the 30-yard line. That's a great cutback. Everything flowing to his left. He cuts back right.
And I'm impressed with Jayon Smith. Only being a sophomore, but he does a good job of making one cut and going. You don't see him dancing around a lot. There you go, Jeff.
There are the keys to the game. Will the pup step up? I thought the offensive line did pretty well for Mission Viejo. There were some good catches on the outside. Trace Johnson's been solid. Mosley's have been making plays. Everything's been working. And limited points, these defenses have been playing well, as that was a 2nd down and 1 situation, as Smith is going to take the pile to the 34-yard line for a gain of 5 yards and a first down.
Yeah, both these young offensive lines have played pretty well so far here in the first game of the season.
And now we've got an injured player down for, is that Smith?
It looks like it. I don't know. My eyes aren't the best. You saw that in the first half. So.
Looks like, he may have a cramp. Yeah. Look, it's been hot for most of the week for Southern California. It was 100 degrees in the Trabuco Hills area at one point this afternoon, and you have that a lot at the beginning of the year. As also on top of that, Smith is carrying, I don't know what his squat is in the weight room, but he was got about 1,000 pounds he was carrying between his offensive line and the defensive line of Mission Viejo on that 5-yard carry.
Yeah, let's see if we get a look at the freshman running back, Adrian Patero. He's the guy, I think, as the season goes, he's going to kind of find a role for this team. He's listed at 5'5", 175 pounds, but I was watching some of his highlights back when he was in 7th, 8th grade. He's tough to bring down.
Well, Patero's in the game. His heart's got to be going 100 beats per minute. He's in the backfield next to Johnson. The ball at the 34-yard line. Santa Margarita in 2 plays gains 14 yards on the ground behind Smith. Play action to Patero. Quick hitter to the far side of the field in the backfield. And why not come all the way back to the other side of the field, because you're Trent Mosley and you can do anything. Look at this. Close to another first down. Penalty marker flies in late. A gain of 10 yards.
He always finds a seam, and he is just special when he gets his hands on the ball. We'll have to wait and see what the penalty is. Getting a little crazy there at the end of the play, but I mean, that should have been a loss of a few yards. He ends up picking nearly a first down. But this is where Santa Margarita wants to stay, second and manageable. So if this is a penalty on them to back it up, that's going to be big.
It's going to be illegal use of the hands against Santa Margarita. Another big play, not as big as the other two, but still a significant one, and you lose that first down. Boy, and Mosley on top of that, Zach, he gained 10 yards. He ran about 60.
Yeah, it looked like, that was like back in the day with Barry Sanders. Yeah, you just see Mosley. It's just the first guy rarely brings him down. Let's see if we can see where the penalty came in. Looked like there was a block in the back.
That was a little bit of like Bo Jackson and Tecmo Bowl. You just throw him out there, he runs around, no one can tackle him. You weren't allowed to play with Bo Jackson in Tecmo Super Bowl. It's like using Odd Job in 007. We used to run Bo all the way down to the 1 yard line, run him all the way back to the other side of the field, and then take him all the way back out again. Frustrate your friends.
Kids watching like, what is Tecmo Super Bowl?
Folks, go on YouTube, open up another window, check it out. On first down and short, that is a high pass to Jake Martin. Really, Johnson had to elevate that to get over the defensive line, incomplete.
And just a big penalty on Santa Margarita, though. You would have had a 2nd and 2, keeping it manageable down and distance, but now you're looking at 2nd and we'll call it 14.
Yeah, the ball. Yeah, it's about 14. The ball back at the 30-yard line. The original line of scrimmage at the 34. First down marker at the 44-yard line. The math checks out.
Yes, it's rare, but it does.
Look, I was doing the calculation. It's early in the season for us.
Yes. This is the perfect situation, too. I mean, give the freshman the ball here, see what he can do.
Patero back there by himself. Play action again. Johnson's going to roll left, buying some time, directing traffic downfield, throws a pass. That's going to be towards the sideline, incomplete. 2 Diablos in coverage, not a big window to throw into. That's a smart play by the senior, getting rid of the football instead of trying to force it in somewhere.
Yeah, now interceptions have kind of been an issue for Trace Johnson back in Florida. He had 12 interceptions last year, had 13 as a sophomore, and you just see the development continue to grow for Trace Johnson. If it's not there, just throw it out. At the end of the day, you got 3rd down coming up, and if you can't convert this, better off to punt it and try and win that field position battle the way your defense played in the first half.
Well, it's one thing to have your dad barking at you, going, hey, throw the ball away. Kids don't listen to their parents. But Carson Palmer's on the sideline, and Uncle Carson says, hey, you should throw that ball away.
I'll say this, kids don't really listen to their parents at that age.
That's right. Fair enough. Yeah, that reminds me of a great story when Joe Montana's kids were playing at De La Salle High School. You've got Joe Montana, and Joe Montana said, my kids want 0 advice from me.
Which is wild.
Patero gets the first carry of his high school career, and it's a good one. He's going to be close to a first down.
I'm telling you, man, this guy is a game changer. Only a freshman, and they do give him a good spot. He gets the first down. Wow, I thought he might have been a little short.
Gain of 14 yards.
Can you imagine how much juice he's got getting his first varsity carry?
Last year at this time, he was going to homeroom, and now he's at the varsity level, picking up 14 yards on his first carry of his high school career.
Let's see if Carson dials it up here. He just had a nice run, picked up 14 yards, get a little play action.
I don't know, I want me some more of Adrian Patero here. I like the cut of his jib.
Yes.
Hey, look at this guy.
He's built, man. He's compact.
Then he hides behind that big offensive line. It makes him difficult to find. They're going to give it to him again. And he's going to get more yardage out to the 49-yard line, a gain of 5.
Well, it's funny. I had to hit up my stepmom because they have the same last name. Are you related to this guy? She said not that she knows of. So,
all right.
The way he's running the ball, I'd start telling people, yeah, we're related.
I look forward to the Poff family tree unveiling at Thanksgiving this year.
Yes. It's a nice drive for Santa Margarita, though. That was a big 3rd and 14 conversion.
Well, and overcoming that penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 3rd and 14 on the ground as well. I think the coaching staff at that point, hey, if you get 5-6 yards, great. Gives us a little more field position. Fantastic. We'll punt. But no, you get the first down. The drive continues. 2nd and 5. Patero. Keep feeding him. He was hit at the line of scrimmage. He breaks an arm tackle and ends up a yard short of a first down at the Diablo 47-yard line.
And that's the thing, man. Listed at 5'5", he's hard to find, like you said, behind that big offensive line. He's so low to the ground.
I lost him in the crowd. I thought he was back at the line of scrimmage. Patero gets the carry again. He's got a first down and then trips over a defender before diving forward for 5 yards to the 42.
I think Santa Margarita might have found themselves an X factor for this year, just a change of pace back. He's got a good burst, too, just able to find that hole, and Mission Viejo couldn't find him.
Patero is going to bounce it to the outside, and this time J.D. Hill says enough of this and tackles him at the line of scrimmage.
And you look at J.D. Hill, 6'2", 270 pounds. When he gets his paws on you, that's tough.
And Patero is getting a hearty bit of congratulations from the coaching staff and players on the Santa Margarita sideline as he comes out of the game. That is a nice opening night for Adrian Patero.
And that's how you earn playing time. He came in, change of pace back. Jayon Smith was kind of nursing a cramp. He got his chance to shine, and it's really been the Patero drive so far.
2nd down and 9. This is the opening possession of the third quarter.
Anytime you got those receivers stacked on the far side, you got to watch out for Trent Mosley.
Mosley's in the slot on that far side. Johnson's looking for him. Now he's going to throw to Smith out of the backfield. Smith has some running room. He's inside the 30, inside the 20, and will be knocked out of bounds there as Santa Margarita moves into the red zone.
Just a great play design, and you got to love Trent Mosley, too, doing an outstanding job blocking for his sophomore running back, and a great job by Trace. Easy play there. You got a lot of open space. Get the ball to your talented running back.
Especially when the Mosleys clear out that left-hand side, going deep and running post routes.
And that's what, you got to admire about Trent Mosley. He's not a guy that, shows frustration if he's not getting the ball. He'll do his job if it allows others to have plenty of opportunities.
Yeah, Johnson's done a nice job managing this football game. Making good decisions. Coaching staff's calling a good game. The ball at the 19-yard line. Trent Mosley in motion from the near side. Smith the carry. Smith is going to be hit by Hill, who will drag him down after a 3-yard gain. Actually, the officials were going to say the line of scrimmage was the 20, so that's a gain of 3 to the 17-yard line.
Yeah, Northern Arizona is sure hoping they can hang on to J.D. Hill. This guy has been very, very productive for Coach Chad Johnson. I mean, put up big-time numbers last year. Yeah, he moves really, really good for a dude that's 270 pounds.
Yeah, that 16.5 sacks last year. Certainly Jaden Williams on the other side was a nice bookend, but, people would start double-teaming Jaden Williams, and J.D. Hill on one-on-one as a junior would get a lot of plays in the backfield. Yeah, he's making plays tonight as Santa Margarita is going to jump into the neutral zone as the tight end went in motion and the left tackle got a little excited.
And speaking of Jaden Williams, I wouldn't be shocked if he finds a way to get on the field as a true freshman at Boise State. And of course, Boise State last year made it to the college football playoffs. It's going to kind of be tougher this year. You don't got Ashton Genty anymore, former Lone Star standout in Frisco, Texas.
College football starts tomorrow.
That's right. You a USC fan or what? San Diego State?
No, well, now, yeah, UCLA a little bit back in the day. Back in the day, not as much now. My son goes to Oregon State. I've kind of adopted them briefly here, so.
Shout out to our editor, Aaron Williams. He's a Beaver as well.
Nice. There's a handoff right. Smith finds a lane and takes it down near the 10-yard line. Makes up the 5-yard penalty, plus more, gain of 10. He's at the 12-yard line.
Yeah, I think the Eagles offense, they found something here. They're just letting their offensive line go to work. Jayon Smith and Patero both doing a good job of not dancing around. They one cut and go. He set up a 3rd and manageable here, 3rd and 3.
They might be going double tight end as they brought in Ryan Carpenter, a sophomore, and then Sasha Godet, also a sophomore, into the game. Gazaniga is as well. This is the beef package right here as Mosley's going to be the only receiver far side. Fullback into the game. Smith the deep back. And Smith is met immediately. Boy, you had all those blockers in there, and you suddenly had 3 Diablos in the backfield led by Hill, and Smith is tackled at the 15 for a loss of 3.
Yeah, J.D. Hill has been everywhere on this drive. I think Carson Palmer, too, was trying to run the ball, even if they didn't get the first down, but if they picked up any sort of positive yardage, they'd most likely go for it, but it looks like they are going to go ahead and bring the field goal unit out here, which is probably the right decision. You got 4th and 5.
Yeah, they hadn't changed the down marker on the far side, so Trace Johnson still thought it was 3rd down, but Coach Palmer said no, it's 4th. So now Wiegand is on for his 2nd field goal attempt in as many possessions. This one he's lining up at the 22-yard line. It'll be a 32-yard attempt from inside the left hash. He was plenty good the first time around. Johnson on to hold. Nice job by Mission Viejo holding the line here. That's a low snap. The kick has plenty of distance, and it is no good.
It's always hard to tell up here. You just got to wait till the refs give you a signal. But, man, long drive. Took a lot of time off the clock for Santa Margarita, but nothing to show for. And that's kind of been the key to this game.
Boy, that's tough to call all the way around.
Yeah, that looked like that had a chance to maybe go right over, but yeah, that's a tough one. That's where if you're a ref there, you're confident with whatever way you decide to go. But we talked about this at halftime. Both defenses have stepped up when they needed to most. So good job by the Diablos to give their offense a little momentum.
Boy, that drive consumed 7 minutes and 21 seconds. And stalls out on the missed field goal from 32 yards. Fahey, who hasn't had an offensive possession for about 45 minutes of actual time, maybe a little bit longer. His first pass to the near side is intended for Junker, and Junker is going to make the catch at the 24-yard line. I thought there was no way he wasn't going to short hop that ball, and Junker gets his hands underneath.
Yeah, Junker and Van Spafford just do such a good job to get their hands under the ball. We saw Spafford make a similar catch back in the first half.
Here's a pass underneath. Luke Carby with the reception, and he's got a first down out near the 34-yard line. Well, now Mission Viejo, they were finding a little bit in the middle of the field with a tight end towards the end of the first half, and they use it here early on their possession. Their second play of the drive. Now to the ground. Oh, nice job. Good hesitation move by the running back. That was, looked like that was Curtis on the carry, or no?
Yeah, Devontae
Curtis. It was Curtis, yes. Out near the 40.
He hasn't had a lot of opportunities here tonight, but that was a nice run. Looked like he was going to get no gain or a couple yards, but just shows you his strength.
Tackle on the play by Holani. Eagles are going to show blitz. Short yardage up the middle for Curtis. He's out across the 40, out near the 42-yard line, setting up 3rd down and 2.
And I'd expect the Diablos to start getting Van Spafford a little more involved. Kind of had a few catches in the first half, but I think he's the guy they're going to try and get going here.
Packed house. We saw a couple of fans standing. Yeah, that's not just because they like to stand during the game. It's standing room only around here, all around the edges of the field. All the stands are packed, both sides. 3rd down and 2. Junker in motion to the far side. Fahey looking to throw. He's going to roll out right. He's directing traffic. He's going to throw underneath and incomplete. Boy, he had Curtis open earlier that if he gets him the ball right away, he's got a first down. But instead, the defense recovered, and it's 4th down and 2.
You're at your own 42. It's 4th and 3. You got to expect Chad Johnson's going to punt here. In high school football, though, you see coaches decide to go for it on these short down situations, but you got to punt here.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that was tough. Fahey rolled out and had a couple of guys open space, but just couldn't get the accurate ball. And usually a quarterback that's very, very accurate, nearly completed 80% of his passes last year as a junior.
Murguia on.
Murguia into punt number 84. Grant Mosley back deep.
Late arrival is J.D. Hill to the special teams. He's on the line. Santa Margarita setting up for punt return. Murguia gets the punt away. That's end over end, and that's going to take a Diablo bounce inside the 10-yard line. Keep rolling all the way down to the 4. What a kick.
Yeah, that was just a great punt. That's the second punt he's had inside the opponent's 10.
Isaiah Murguia is going to Wally Pip Caleb Sylvia, who's out sick tonight. That's a fantastic punt down to the 4-yard line. Coach Johnson was joking before. He's like, you don't always have a good backup kicker, but Murguia's done a great job. Let's go back and look at the toughest schedules. Here are the MaxPreps top 10, and Santa Margarita the toughest one. And Zach, we looked at this earlier. There's a lot of Trinity League teams with very difficult schedules this year.
Yeah, and just going through Santa Margarita's schedule next week, as you mentioned, Thursday against Corona Centennial, can watch live on NFHS Network. That will definitely be a top 10 game of the week. And then, I mean, I wouldn't call it an easy game, but their only opponent outside of the top 100 is Highland. Then after that, it's Oaks Christian. And then number 3, Bishop Gorman comes here, a Saturday game. And then it's Trinity League action with Servite, and then back-to-back weeks against number 1, Mater Dei, and number 2, St. John Bosco.
There was East St. Louis on there as well, the number 10 toughest schedule. And we're going to have them on the NFHS Network when they play Bishop Gorman in a few weeks.
It's a great game. That is a great game.
Pressure out of the backfield. Nice catch along the sideline. Johnson just avoiding a safety. That pass is caught by Grant Mosley. He's going to gain a yard at the 5-yard line, and now we have an injured player down in the end zone. Looks like one of the Diablos is down. Johnson was right on the back of the end zone when he released that pass and was getting tackled, and he was lucky to get that ball away, and looks like
he was mad. Dell over there going down, and he's had a bigger role here. We saw Cash.
That's just a cramp again. Yeah, this time maybe a hamstring or something like that. It looks like they're stretching that out. Well, and again, this defense for Mission Viejo, you know, there's more seniors on this side. All the safeties, Ryder Brown, Zach Foldy, Sawyer Thompson, all seniors, and they really are the anchors of the back of the defense, as Mission Viejo likes to run out 3 safeties and 2 corners. Jaron Jones, we mentioned, a senior as well. Brady Bowman, one of the linebackers, a senior. And then, of course, Hill. But a lot of juniors, and then a lot of guys like Dahlhofer, who's a sophomore, getting some playing time.
Yeah, and you got to be impressed with this unit so far. I mean, Santa Margarita only has 3 points. And looking at the other side of the ball, Santa Margarita, I've been impressed with Trace Johnson in this one. There's been a lot of pressure on him, and he's still been able to get throws.
Chad Johnson, you're looking at him right there. He was telling me earlier today, he said, I'm teaching 4 history classes. I barely have time for anything else. I go right from my history classes to coaching. So we're glad he could take a little bit of time off here this evening from grading papers to coach a football game.
Yes, I think he'd prefer doing this than grading history papers. But, yeah, I mean, you look at the success he's had at Mission Viejo, 63-16 through his first 7 years. And last season, they went 10-1, finished ranked number 16 in the final MaxPreps top 25, and they've gone 46-9 over the last 5 years. They've really been one of the best programs in Southern California.
2nd and 9, play action to Smith. Johnson throwing across the middle, and a huge hit in the secondary by Sawyer Thompson. We just talked about him. Unable to hold on was Gerdai. Boy, that was a big-time play in the middle of the secondary.
Yeah, that's a huge hit. That would have been a big play for Santa Margarita. Now they're facing 3rd and 9. It's exactly what you want to do as a safety. Don't come in and get a penalty. Perfect hit to knock the ball out. That's just a tough spot for the sophomore tight end.
Ice your ribs later. 3rd down and 9. Under 2 minutes remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Secondary shifting around. Now man in motion, Gazaniga, and Santa Margarita is going to use a timeout.
Yeah, this is a key spot for both teams, because if you're Mission Viejo, you get a force of 3 and out, you're going to most likely get good field position. So that just shows you the importance of how good the backup punter has been.
Yeah, unsung hero Murguia so far, at least on this possession. If the Diablos can get a stop defensively, there's Carson Palmer talking things over with his offense. But the running backs, let's go back to Patero. What a great first game he's had, and really on that whole last sequence of plays on their previous possession.
Yeah, only a freshman. This is going to be a guy who's going to be getting important carries for the next 4 years for Carson Palmer and the Eagles. And then you got Jayon Smith, only a sophomore. So this is going to be one of the best 1-2 punches in Southern California for the next 3 to 4 years. And shout out to the offensive line. They're doing a tremendous job opening some alleys for these talented young running backs.
There's Smith in the game right now. That drive ended up with a missed field goal from 32 yards. So we stay at 3-0 right now. The ball at the 5, 3rd and 9 for Santa Margarita.
This is where it's nice to have Trent Mosley, because you can get a little quick pass out to him and you can see what he can do in the open field. There's a shot of Patero. Yeah. He said, hey, what's up? I know where the camera's at.
I'm starting a new fan club right there. I like that kid. Here's Johnson looking left, throwing left, looking and incomplete, almost intercepted. Boy, that would have been a huge turnover. In coverage that time was Colin Burke. Or excuse me, no, that wasn't Colin Burke. That was Zach Foldy, one of the other safeties. So now the punting unit on. And Jack Junker, who is very dangerous in the open field. He's had 2 punts his way. He's caught both of them. If he's standing right now at the Santa Margarita 40-yard line is the punting unit. That's Clark kicking out of his own end zone.
And you know Junker would love to house this punt return against his former team. Friends with a lot of guys on Santa Margarita.
You get the ball away quickly. That's a nice high kick. Fair catch, Junker, and he's going to grab it at the Santa Margarita 32-yard line. Well, there's some good coaching by Mike Cyphers, who's the kicking coach and was an outstanding punter with the Chargers a number of years ago, because the temptation there as the punter is get it away quickly, and Clark did not panic. He took his time, and he got a nice high kick, allows for the fair catch. But this is fantastic field position for Mission Viejo.
Yeah, this is the perfect opportunity for them, and they tried to run the ball a little bit more on the opening possession of the second half.
You got to score here if you're the Diablos. 1:40 to go in the third quarter. The first time you're starting a drive on your opponent's side of the field as the Santa Margarita student section fired up at their first football game of the season.
Yeah, at worst, you got to leave with at least a field goal on this possession.
They play action. He's rolling. He's got pressure from behind. He's throwing into the end zone. He's got a man open. Touchdown, Mission Viejo.
Junker.
There he is. Jack Junker didn't get to return the punt, but one play later, a 33-yard strike from Fahey.
That's got to feel great for Jack Junker going up against his former team. I've been very impressed with Fahey's ability to get outside the pocket. Perfect throw. Junker wide open in the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Mission Viejo, exactly what the doctor ordered for the Diablos.
Murguia on for the extra point. Murguia got it going with that fantastic punt. The Diablos hold defensively, and the Fahey to Junker connection. One play later. Trying to make this a 7-3 game. Murguia is going to kick that to the biology class at Trabuco Hills. That is good. 7-3 our score.
It's funny on that touchdown, too. You could see a couple of Mission Viejo fans sitting on lawn chairs behind the end zone, and their hands went in the air when Fahey didn't even release the ball yet, but his ability to get outside the pocket and throw it on the money. And that's the thing with Van Spafford. He takes up so much of the defensive pressure. You get a guy like Jack Junker who can get a one-on-one matchup, and he is very, very tough to cover in one-on-one situations.
The Mission Viejo Diablos band and cheerleading section really fired up after that play. That's really, I mean, except for that first drive, or that drive earlier in the game when they got down to the 1-yard line and got stopped, there hadn't been much going offensively, at least big strike capability for Mission Viejo until that play.
Yeah, last week we saw Grayson put up 51 points, and now we get our first touchdown here with 1:31 left in the third quarter.
That's right, our first game, Grayson over Collinsville last week, 51-3. Here, a lot tighter, 7-3.
I kind of figured going into this one, too, this is going to be a very, very competitive game. These two programs are pretty even. I didn't see a 35-7 game like we saw last year with Santa Margarita losing.
Murguia put the opening kick of the second half in the end zone for a touchback. He's going to drive this one towards the end zone as well, and Santa Margarita going to start at the 20-yard line again. And you cannot say enough about a kicker who can act as a weapon, and Murguia is showing off here in the second half, forcing Santa Margarita to start deep in their own end every single time.
Yeah, and, you know, special teams can be a big, big wild card at the high school level. So when you get a good guy on kickoff, punter, and a guy that can make field goals. That sometimes is the difference between going 11-1 or 9-4.
Well, we saw that last week. Grayson scoring multiple times in the first half on special teams miscues by Collins Hill. Here tonight, we've got good special teams play going on. Junker has made some tough, fair catches in traffic, but hasn't turned the ball over. You got some great kicks and punts from Murguia. So now Johnson's got some work to do with this offense from his 20-yard line. On first down, low snap, he's going to roll out right and throw. Mosley the catch, and he's going to be stopped short of the line of scrimmage. Nice job coming up and making the tackle. Mission Viejo on that play, the corner on the near side.
Yeah, you got to love the tackling ability for both these corners. They've both been playing really well. Jordan Hicks, Jaron Jones.
That was JoJo Reed on that one.
And JoJo Reed as well. Yeah, JoJo Reed, only a junior, so that's going to be nice for Chad Johnson after Jaron Jones graduates after this year. You're going to have JoJo and Jordan Hicks still there.
A loss of 2 back to the 18-yard line. This Mission Viejo defense starting to step up a little bit as Santa Margarita moved the ball really well in the opening possession of the third quarter.
Going back with Patero in the backfield.
He was the change of pace guy that made a big difference when the Eagles were moving the football. Patero's got the carry. He's going to disappear into a swarm of white jerseys right around the 20-yard line. He'll get the 2 yards back that they lost, setting up 3rd and 10.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Santa Margarita just lets the clock wind down to the fourth quarter. Maybe they try and get an offsides penalty.
Well, they're going to get Jake Martin back in the game at receiver. Don't seem to be in any hurry. Looks like Santa Margarita, they're going to come up to the line of scrimmage, but they're not going to get a playoff here as we will wind down to the end of the quarter. Well, folks, it's the MaxPreps game of the week, and we've got a great one brewing here at Trabuco Hills High School. Santa Margarita and Mission Viejo battling. The Diablos finally getting on the board. Fahey to Junker. 7-3 our score. We move to the fourth.
The MaxPreps Game of the Week is brought to you by GoFan, the leading ticketing solution for high schools. Skip the line and get your tickets instantly on the GoFan app. And by the NFHS Network. Watch your favorite teams live and on demand with the largest broadcast network for high school sports.
And next week on the MaxPreps Game of the Week, Lakeland and De La Salle from the Bay Area. That's where Zach and I will be. Shorter drive for you, short flight for me.
Yes, anytime you can get California versus Florida, that's must-watch TV, especially, two established programs like De La Salle and Lakeland. Lakeland, obviously, legendary head coach and Bill Castle. And, obviously with Bob Laddiser with De La Salle for all those years now, Justin Alaba in charge, a very, very good coach.
I was not aware that Lakeland was the Dreadnoughts, but yes. I love that nickname already. Johnson going to throw here as we start the fourth quarter. Has plenty of time down the middle, and the ball deflected. Grant Mosley's going to grab it, but the ball hit the ground incomplete, and that will bring up fourth down. No one with a blue jersey in the neighborhood. Nice coverage downfield by Mission Viejo as they drop back instead of rushing the extra pass rusher off the edge.
Yeah, nearly intercepted. Went off the fingertips and hit the turf. Good job by the Diablos to still get a little pressure and make Trace Johnson a little uncomfortable. Couldn't really get his feet down and make a good throw.
That was Foldy in coverage. Junker now standing back at midfield, and we've got a whistle as the penalty marker down. Couple of them. Santa Margarita. Oh, there's too many men on the field against Mission Viejo. That's a 5-yard penalty. They'll put the ball at the 25-yard line, fourth down.
And you've seen the Diablos get called for that penalty a few times here tonight.
Well, that's something you're going to work on next week. Your Mission Viejo. They play at St. Paul in Santa Fe Springs, California next week. Here's a good snap this time. The punt away, high kick. Fair catch called for by Junker. He drops the football, but then he recovers it at the 45-yard line. That could have been a disaster for Mission Viejo, but Junker manages to come up with the ball.
Yeah, just a great job by Junker, not able to come up with the catch originally, but all that matters is jump on it. That's a tough play to make. Good job by Santa Margarita to kind of push his teammate into him, but nice job by Junker to jump on it. That would have been a tough blow for the Diablos if Santa Margarita could have jumped on that one.
Karan Williams was right there, and the Junker was able to stick out the left hand and gather it in.
Get a look at Samote Katawanga there, and I haven't really called his name a lot here. Mission Viejo's young offensive line has done a very, very good job against this front seven.
Fahey's going to put a triple stack of receivers off the right tackle to the near side, the short side of the field, one to the far side. Curtis gets the carry. He's going to cut it back, and good read by Santa Margarita.
Dash Fafita coming up to make the play. Younger brother of Noah Fafita, the starting quarterback for Arizona. And Dash Fafita has just been a standout playmaker at the linebacker position.
Isaiah Vandermeer also coming up and run support from his linebacker spot. A gain of 1 on the play. 2nd down and 9. We're early in the 4th quarter. Mission Viejo leading by 4, 7-3. Man in motion, that's Carby. And now we got whistles and movement, and it looks like one of the offensive line got started a little early.
Yeah, these are just penalties you don't want to have happen. You got a 2nd and 9 turn into a 2nd and 14, and if you're Carson Palmer here, you love this because you want to force a 3rd and long so you can get some pressure on Luke Fahey.
Now, right now, Carson Palmer is standing with the offense, looking at the screen down along the sideline while the defense is going to work. Fahey with Curtis to his right. Play action, quick toss. Carby's got it. Nice low tackle. That's Prime coming up and making a play at the 45-yard line.
I was seeing if you were going to go over to the nickname, and you finally did. It took you about 4 quarters, but that just shows you the ability for Prime.
I was just waiting for a Prime play. You get the nickname when you get the play, and that was a good play.
When you have corners that can tackle at that ability, and it's funny he goes by Prime because Deion Sanders wasn't the best tackler at the cornerback position.
That is not what he was known for.
No.
3rd and 10, 4 yards on the last play. Hey, you're going to look to the sideline.
And this is nice where you're Santa Margarita. You got a very good defensive line, so you can find a way to get pressure only rushing 4 guys.
Fahey looking to throw. He's going to run away from trouble. Roll out to his left. Now he's just going to tuck it away and run. Head to the sideline. He's going to slide. Oh, that's going to be a late hit. Wow. That is a late hit, and that is going to give Mission Viejo a 1st down.
Wow, big penalty on Jaden Crowder, it looked like.
That's a 15-yarder.
That is a tough penalty if you're Santa Margarita. Because they did a good job closing out on Fahey. Kind of late slide, so you weren't going to get the penalty on the initial tackle, but the second one came in late.
And an easy call.
Yep.
Boy, that is a big play here in the 4th quarter. Going to extend a drive when likely the punting unit was going to come out for the Diablos. Yeah, you said it, Zach. Here on the first part, yeah, late slide, so you don't mind the first one from Fafita, but the second one was the one that drew the penalty.
And you usually don't see that type of mistake from Jaden Crowder. Senior corner committed to Cal.
So now the ball at the Eagles' 35-yard line. Fahey's going to put a man in motion. He's going to throw a tight end screen to Carby on the far side, and Carby's going to try to scramble forward. He'll get short yardage. You know, one guy I've seen missing for Mission Viejo in this second half is we haven't seen Vance Spafford.
Yeah, I think Santa Margarita's defense is dialing it up a lot on him. So guys like Jack Junker having to make plays, and nice job by Crowder there. A play after that penalty comes up with a nice open field tackle. It looked like Mission Viejo had a nice screen set up, but
I don't even see Spafford on the field. I don't even think that the Eagles have necessarily tied him up so much, unless they tied him up and left him in the locker room. I don't know if there's an injury. We haven't seen him here in the second half of play. Other guys are having to make plays like Luke Carby. Fahey's going to throw underneath. He's going to find his tight end again. That's a first down near the 20. Well, Carby is acting as a nice high percentage substitute here.
And nice job by Fahey, just getting the ball out quick, and nice job by Carby to find some open space.
The ball at the Santa Margarita 21-yard line.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Spafford may be battling an injury or maybe cramping up, seeing some cramps here especially in the second half.
Fahey's going to put Junker in motion. He's going to take on more importance if Spafford's out of the game. They're going to look for Junker, instead throw underneath, and that pass incomplete. They were trying to find Carby, and Fahey throws behind him. Junker was trying to do an out route towards the end zone. Might have had a step, but there was safety help, so the ball thrown away. It'll bring up second down. Well, Luke Carby's getting a lot more targets than he might have thought he was going to at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, he's had a couple of nice catches. He's just a smart receiver, able to find some space. He's made a couple of big catches for first downs.
Fahey fakes it to Curtis. Here comes some pressure. He's going to throw sidearm into the end zone and incomplete. Almost intercepted. Dash Fafita looked like he had the ball go right through his hands.
And he was covering the running back Devontae Curtis there, and a good job by Curtis to kind of push him right as he was getting ready to make the interception. Just a good job to make sure that Fafita couldn't come up with the INT.
Close to offensive pass interference, but I thought the timing actually worked out pretty well for Curtis.
Yeah, big third down here, 3rd and 10.
Santa Margarita fans trying to urge on their defense. Fahey's going to throw near side. Junker is going to look over his left shoulder and then back over his right, and the pass incomplete. 4th down. And now let's see if Murguia comes out. It would be a 38-yard attempt for the kicker.
Nice coverage there by Helani. Didn't really give Junker much space, and that would have been a very, very tight window throw from Fahey.
And Murguia is out there. Fahey is the holder. That's really tough. It's got to be tough as a quarterback. You just get disappointed. You don't connect on 3rd down. You've been running around. Now you got to slow your heartbeat and take a snap.
Right.
And then get a good hold for Murguia, who's going to be kicking it from the left hash.
Yeah, we've seen both quarterbacks in this one doing the holding.
Look at that angle, Zach. That is not easy, as Mission Viejo is going to call a timeout here.
These ones always hurt you when you got to burn a timeout on special teams, especially a timeout you might need late in the game. It's a one-score game.
Well, this is a big field goal attempt, and so I don't fault Mission Viejo for wanting to get this right necessarily. That was their first time out. They've got 2 remaining, as Santa Margarita's got 2 as well. I mean, they connect on this, and now you can breathe a little bit defensively if you hold Santa Margarita to 3 while you're still in front. So this is a big field goal attempt coming up here for the Diablos.
Yeah, and how big was that penalty on Crowder as well? Gives them an opportunity to tack on 3 more points. But a good job by Santa Margarita's defense to hold after getting that big penalty to put Mission Viejo deep into Santa Margarita territory.
Yeah, it's been an interesting game. You start to see one team gain some momentum. Santa Margarita seemed to, especially going from that field goal to end this first half and into the 3rd quarter where they had a nice drive that ended it with a missed field goal. And then suddenly it looked like they can't move the football. Mission Viejo made some adjustments. Then the Diablos driving up and down. Now Santa Margarita makes some adjustments. Here's Murguia. From 38. And that kick, no good.
So Santa Margarita's defense holds.
Wide right on the kick. Just pushed it a little too much. Had the distance, but not the accuracy. And now Santa Margarita will take over with under 8 minutes remaining. And they'll have the ball at their own 20-yard line.
Yeah, this is, I know I've been saying this a lot, but you gotta find a way to get Trent Mosley, whether it's a little swing pass, even maybe give him a handoff. I mean, he's a guy who has 20-plus rushing touchdowns, over 2,600 yards receiving now in his career after tonight.
Well, field position is not favored Santa Margarita in this game. 20-yard line, their 20-yard line, that's the high water mark where they've been. They've also had drives that have started at their own 8, their own 5, their own 4. Johnson out of the backfield hits Patero, his first reception of his high school career, and he's going to get near the 25 now with the help of the offensive line. He's going to move the pile close to the 30.
I'm surprised those big offensive linemen didn't just put them on their shoulder.
Completed by Johnson.
This is exactly what you want, though, when you're an offensive coordinator or if you're Carson Palmer. 2nd and 1 is, I mean, you have so much to open up with your play calling.
Santa Margarita going to a little bit of a hurry up, quickly up to the line of scrimmage. Patero is going to get the carry. Nice cutback. He doesn't need much here, but he's going to drive out to the 34-yard line.
And look at the confidence that Carson Palmer's showing in his freshman running back. And he really got his opportunity because Jayon Smith went down with a cramp, and Jayon's coming back in the game.
I mean, that's a cut. Zach, he made that cut. He hopped in the air, planted on his right foot, and then pushed off. I mean, and he hopped from his right foot to a cut on his right foot.
If we tried that, something would pop.
I blew an ACL just watching that play. First down at the 34-yard line.
And what a moment for Trace Johnson. His first game starting here at Santa Margarita. Have the opportunity to lead a comeback drive in the 4th quarter.
Mosley in motion, that's Grant. Trent's to the near side. Johnson looking to throw across the middle. And that pass is going to be hauled in around the 40-yard line. Grant Mosley with a catch.
And those are that's a tough catch to make, and that's exactly what you want. You got 2nd and 4 opposed to 2nd and 10. Just great hands.
It's a gain of 6 yards. These kinds of like small gain plays start to wear down a defense over time. You can see even Mission Viejo looking a little bit tired here. You know, you've got these plays. Patero makes a catch, then he drags you 5 yards on top of the 4 yards he gained on the initial reception. Then he gets another gain of 5, carrying a bunch of people. It starts to wear you down.
And football can be simple sometimes. If you keep it down in distance at a manageable spot, it's a lot easier to coach.
Man in motion, that's Gazaniga. Handoff, Smith back in the game. He's going to cut back, and nice job by Hill getting in there to stop him after a gain of a yard, maybe 2. Looks like he's going to be a yard and a half shy of a first down. Excuse me, Zach.
No, J.D. Hill, he has had a tremendous second half. And what do you think Carson Palmer is dialing up here? You got 3rd and about 2.
Our cameraman's almost over his shoulder to read the play calls. 35 Y banana.
We're going to get in trouble here if we show Santa Margarita's playbook on the broadcast.
That is for sure. Good thing we blurred that out. Nice job by our camera crew. Showing enough, but not too much. That's just some good directing there by our team. 3rd down and short. Coming down to the 5-minute mark of the 4th quarter. Smith the carry running right. He's going to dive for the line. He's got the first down. Right at the 45-yard line.
There's nothing better for an offensive line to have that feeling when it's 3rd and 2. You know you're running the ball and you're able to move the chains.
Smith doing a nice job. Nice lead block as well. This offensive line's doing nice work.
They did give him a first, but at first it looked like it was pretty obvious. Then you heard the crowd booing. The ref said, hey, we don't want any problems. We're just going to move the chains.
Now that ball, they need to cross the 44-yard line, and the football length over the 44 gives them the first down. Well, Santa Margarita is trying to make this the final drive of the game, but they got to come away with points, and it's got to be of the touchdown variety. The ball just shy of their own 45-yard line. The drive starting at their 20. Johnson taking his time. Diablo showing blitz. Here they come. Quick out. Nice cut. Great job by Martin. And we got a penalty marker down. Martin's going to move into Mission Viejo territory for a gain of about 7 yards, but hold everything.
Looks like we're going to... I'm not sure whether they're pointing towards Mission Viejo's direction, so I'm not sure if...
Maybe an illegal hands to the face. Let's see. Personal foul. It's a face mask.
Wow.
That's a big 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, that's a huge penalty.
Let's see if we can see it here.
Yeah, it was on the far side with Trent Mosley.
Just out of frame. Might have been Mosley and Jaron Jones.
Yeah, I think it was Jaron Jones on the face man. He was all excited because he thought he was getting a holding call on Trent Mosley, and then it comes out a 25-yard difference with a 15-yard penalty.
Now the ball down to the Mission Viejo 33-yard line.
Yeah, Eagles got to capitalize on this drive, especially when you're getting help with these 15-yard penalties. And that's a nice thing, utilizing the freshman running back Patero. You keep Smith with a little more fresh legs here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Patero's been a nice addition here in this second half for Santa Margarita. Play action to Smith. Johnson throwing across the middle. He's got a man open. Gazaniga. He makes the catch inside the 20 and then will lean forward to the 16-yard line.
Yeah, first time we've really called his name here in the second half. He had a very, very good first half.
Number 9, Gazaniga.
Nice drive by the Eagles here inside the red zone.
Santa Margarita is picking up a lot of first downs, but they have yet to get in the end zone. They are in the red zone, however. The ball at the 16. Coming down to 3:30 remaining.
Yeah, Santa Margarita's offensive line giving Trace Johnson plenty of time on this drive.
Number 50.
Smith is going to move Gazaniga, or excuse me, Johnson is in motion back to the far side. Smith the carry. Tries to bounce outside, looking to get to the corner. He's got positive yardage. He'll be pushed out of bounds around the 12.
Yeah, good job by Jordan Hicks, able to get off the block from Grant Mosley. If Mosley's able to hold that block on the edge, there could have been a chance that Jayon Smith could have took that one, at least for a first down and possibly a touchdown.
Yeah, either you hold the block and he cuts inside and he's got a clear path to the end zone, or he bounces to the outside. Instead, it'll be a second down and 6 from the 12.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Jordan Hicks, only a sophomore. Been very good in coverage, but also a very physical corner, able to come up and make one-on-one tackles.
Mission Viejo trying to get a stop. Quick toss, Smith. He dropped the football, and he's going to have to fall on it back at the 15-yard line. That was a tough toss and a loss of 3.
And that's tough because now you got, you had 2nd and 6. Now you're looking at 3rd and 8. You got to find a way to at least pick up some positive yardage on this 3rd down to give you a good 4th down opportunity.
Looked like Smith was looking up before he secured the football. Trying to see where the defenders were, but it's always ball first.
We're getting just under the 2-minute mark, and both teams with 2 timeouts apiece.
Ball, actually, the officials find this at the 16-yard line, so 3rd and 9. Got to be, this is a 2-play territory for Santa Margarita here if they don't get this one on 3rd down. 3 receivers to the far side. The Mosleys sandwiching Jake Martin. That's Grant in motion to the near side. Johnson looking to throw. He's throwing for the end zone, and he's going to throw behind Trent Mosley.
Late flag.
But we got a penalty marker.
Wow. I wasn't sure if they were going to throw it. It looked like feet got tangled up, but it looks like they're going to get the sophomore on the penalty.
It is against Mission Viejo.
And pass interference in California, not an automatic first down. It looks like this is half the distance to the goal. Will probably set up a 3rd and 1.
It's like that's, well, let's see. You're at the 16. Maybe it goes down to the 8. That you might be a yard shy. You're right, Zach. I think it is going to be 3rd and 1. See where they stop moving.
Yeah, that's a tough call. Hard to see if there was a little early contact. Looked like feet got tangled up. I mean, it's hard not to bring in the freshman here. He's shown that he's getting positive yardage on every carry.
Well, they're going to go with Gaudet, at tight end along with Gazaniga on that right-hand side. Mosleys are going to go to each side. Trent to the near side, Grant to the far side. Patero in the game. On 3rd and 2, they're going to give it to Patero. He's into the line. He's stacked up. Even Johnson wants to get in for a little bit of a tush push, and now we're at the first down marker, and let's see if he's got it.
Yeah, the far ref is kind of right at the sticks. Looks like he got enough to get it.
I don't know. They're still on 4th down, I think.
Oh, wow.
Well, you got to go for it here. Coming down to 1 minute to play. This is the game right here. 4th down and about a half a yard.
I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more. Season opener for both teams.
Fans on their feet on both sides. Power formation in the backfield. Double tight end set. And now a timeout is going to be called by Mission Viejo. And that will stop the clock with 34 seconds remaining.
So this is a game right here because Santa Margarita only with 2 timeouts. So if they don't move the chains, that's ball game.
Well, folks, we've got a great game here. We got a great game next week as well. Lakeland and De La Salle from the Bay Area. Zach and I will be there for that. Our great crew here at MaxPreps, bringing you all the backstory and social media and the coming up to the game, and then the game on Friday. We will have that for you. And thanks so much to De La Salle for having us there. Lakeland's going to have themselves quite a trip.
Yeah, I heard they're going to maybe make an Alcatraz trip when they first get there, which will be a great experience for those kids. I can almost guarantee probably a lot of them have not been to California or Northern California.
Yeah, that's the one place that if you ask a native Bay Area family, have you been to Alcatraz? No, but we drive by it on the Bay Bridge all the time. It's always the folks from out of town, but it's a great place to visit. Mission Viejo is down to their 1 timeout remaining. Santa Margarita's got 2. The Diablos not liking their defensive alignment against the package that Santa Margarita rolled out offensively. Smith is in the backfield. Johnson in the gun. 4th and a yard. The ball is dropped. Johnson's going to roll left. He's throwing to the back of the end zone. Incomplete.
That is tough. I mean, just couldn't get the snap down and just had to go backyard football.
And we have an injured player down for Mission Viejo right where Johnson was throwing the football. Boy, that was a tough snap, and Johnson tried to do something with it. Was that Jones who was in there trying to... Well, either way, it was overthrown in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, nice job by Sawyer Thompson there to make a play on the ball. And just tough for Santa Margarita fans. You want a good chance on the 4th down play, and just a tough snap to handle, and that was disrupted the entire play.
That was Brady Bowman who was providing the pressure there.
So Chad Johnson was hoping he'd get a chance to call his favorite formation. Take a couple of QB kneels. I mean, 2 timeouts for Santa Margarita. See if they use them. They probably will, but QB kneels, and this one's all over.
What a game.
Yeah.
Mission Viejo student body fired up. Bay's going to take a knee, and Santa Margarita is going to use one of their 2 timeouts.
You can hear the Mission Viejo fan base. Not too happy, but you got to there. I mean, You never know if there's a penalty that might stop the clock as well, and could have a chance where you save the time, or you don't have to use a 3rd timeout, obviously, because the clock will stop on a penalty.
Coach Johnson's going to come all the way out himself to have the conversation with his team.
That's what he's telling them. Hey, no penalties.
Yeah, ball security. What else could he be telling him?
Just don't let these guys get under your skin and get a dumb personal foul penalty.
That's right. Maybe also, you've got that dive attempt at the football that you see from time to time on the nose. So I don't know if Santa Margarita would necessarily employ that. They do have that 1 timeout left. Take the knee there, and Santa Margarita will use their final timeout.
You do have to like the sportsmanship, though, from Santa Margarita, not really putting any pressure on the offensive line. They know this one's just about over. Chad Johnson doesn't look too thrilled about the timeouts being called. But he's very, very good friends with his coaching staff at Santa Margarita. Him and Steve Fafita very close. Defensive coordinator for the Eagles.
I don't know. He's pretty fired up. I think he should be happy. Just doesn't. Really, Carson Palmer's helping him out. That gives him extra time away from grading papers.
I was about to say, I think he's upset because he's got some history papers he's got to get through tonight.
Maybe that's what it is.
Teachers, grading never ends.
Final snap of the football. Mission Viejo last year won 35-7. This year's game a lot closer. But they're going to go to 1-0 on the year with a 7-3 victory over Santa Margarita.
Yeah, just a great showing by Mission Viejo, and I was impressed with both teams. Obviously, you look at the scoreboard, you think, oh, 7-3, not much going on. And this one was, when a defensive play had to be made, both defenses stepped up.
Well, that was a fun game to watch. That was a really good defensive game. A lot of action. Mission Viejo on top. Folks, the MaxPreps Game of the Week post-game show coming up a few moments. We'll have our player of the game. Zach and I will wrap it up from Trabuco Hills High School. Final score, Mission Viejo 7, Santa Margarita 3. Back with more in a moment. The MaxPreps Game of the Week post-game show. Jeff Kurtz alongside Zach Poff. What a game we just saw. Mission Viejo, a 7-3 win over Santa Margarita. And we learned a lot tonight, and there were a lot of questions coming in. We have the debut of Carson Palmer as the head coach. Trace Johnson, the quarterback, transferring in from Florida for Santa Margarita. And then you had a young offensive line for Mission Viejo, and a lot of young kids stepping up, some guys transferring from Santa Margarita to Mission Viejo. How did you see it all playing out, Zach, what you saw on the field tonight?
Yeah, I think the thing that really jumped out for me was the young offensive line. You're getting a look at Luke Fahey, and one of the main reasons why he was able to make some of these big-time throws was because of the offensive line. He's our player of the game this week. I guess we just left quarterback second straight week. We got a quarterback. He's a 2026 Ohio State commit. And, this is his first chance to actually start and play the entire game. Was splitting time the last 2 years at the quarterback position. He showed why he's one of the best, not just in California, but the entire country. And it had to feel good for Jack Junker as well, having a big game against his former team.
Yeah, that great pass was the difference in the game, that 33-yard touchdown pass from Fahey to Junker. And for Fahey now, that's 18 touchdowns in the last 2 years against 0 interceptions. Now, we can't expect perfection for the next 10 to 12 games, but through 12, he's been pretty good. Over the last 2 seasons.
A lot of things both these teams have to like. Santa Margarita's defense played really, really well. I think the offense will start getting things going here in the next few weeks, and they're going to have to because they have a very, very tough schedule. A game I can't wait for, too, is Mission Viejo versus Folsom on September 5th. That's going to be a very, very good one. And speaking of another team from Northern California, we're going to be there in Concord next week. De La Salle, a team just outside of the MaxPreps top 25, against Lakeland, who's kind of hovering around that top 50 range. So a very, very good game. We got Florida versus California. That's one of the best when you get that out-of-state matchup between those two big-time states. And
you can watch these Santa Margarita Eagles again next week on Thursday on the NFHS Network as they will take on Centennial out of Corona. That'll be a great game on the NFHS Network. Folks, you'll want to get your pass. Might as well get the annual pass. We got great coverage all year long in a variety of sports, girls volleyball, football, highlighting that coverage on the NFHS Network right now. Well, folks, folks, a lot of people to thank who made this broadcast possible tonight. Zach and I show up. We've got the easy job. We learn a few names, get a few stats, and start talking. But I'd like to thank our director, Carl Harper, Scott Railing, doing a great job on site for us from the folks at L2 Productions. Matthew Burke, Michael White stepping in on the backside from Play On Sports to help us out there, and the great camera crew, including the guys on the lift. I would not want to be that high behind the end zone, but they do a great job as well working in the heat. They had rain last week. They had heat this week. We had a great game tonight. 7-3, Mission Viejo winning it over Santa Margarita on the MaxPreps game of the week. We'll see you next week up in the Bay Area. Lakeland taking on De La Salle as our coverage across the nation continues. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.
The MaxPreps Game of the Week is brought to you by GoFan, the leading ticketing solution for high schools. Skip the line and get your tickets instantly on the GoFan app. And by the NFHS Network. Watch your favorite teams live and on demand with the largest broadcast network for high school sports.